Hey guys, welcome to Becca Scoops Live on Thursday night. I hope you guys are having a good week. I hope you guys have had a good week and are settling in for a great live stream. This is going to be explosive. This is going to be wow. Yeah, it's going to be a wow. Not sure exactly where I'm going to start. Well, I know where I'm going to start. Let's start with a statement that Gypsy Rose put out, but let me get your comments up on, let me put your comments up first. There you guys go. All right. Something a little different with comments today. It's weird. Usually it'll, sorry guys, hold on. Just something's kind of weird with the comments over here. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, I got it. All right, so comments are good. Here we go. So I thought that we could start with a statement that Gypsy Rose put out today about the prison calls. And this live stream is going to be explosive in that it's going to go to the very heart of the case. So we've got all of these calls, right? Years and years, thousands of calls, right? And what do they reveal? Well, what they've revealed to me, what I have found is going to go to the direct motive of why she said, or, you know, her motive of why she killed her mother, why she said she killed her mother, right? I have got some many, well, not many, 10 calls that I'm going to play for you throughout this live stream to demonstrate what a liar she is and who was helping her with that lie. Who was helping her with those lies? That's what we're going to get into. But before I get to that, before I reveal all that, I would like to go over her statement, okay, that she made today. I think it was today. It was sent to me. She writes, this is from Gypsy about the prison calls. I want to directly address some of the old prison, old. She puts old, right? These aren't that long ago. Okay, some, yes, when she first got there, you know, the very oldest are 10 years ago, right? And they're not all old, okay? But she wants to use that adjective, right? The old prison phone calls that have recently been shared online. In those conversations, I used racist language and made cruel, disrespectful comments, including about people I love, my sister Mia and her fiance Andre. What I said was wrong. The words were racist, and I take full responsibility for saying them. There is no excuse for that language or the pain it caused. To the Black community, I'm sorry for using words that are hateful and demeaning. I understand the anger and disappointment those words carry. To Mia and Andre, I'm especially sorry. You didn't deserve that then, and you don't deserve the hurt now. Since coming home, being able to have a relationship with both has meant so much, and it's heartbreaking that my own words have caused this pain and damaged that trust. I've apologized privately, and I understand forgiveness or reconciliation is not something I'm owed. I respect whatever boundaries you need and accept that healing happens on your timeline. Who is she talking to? Her sister? I guess. Not mine. I also want to be honest about where I stand today. Those words and attitudes don't reflect who I am or what I believe now. Well, what has changed? What happened? You know what I mean? How did you change? I reject them completely. I know saying that isn't enough and that my actions over time have to demonstrate change. I can't go back and undo what I said. What I can do is acknowledge it fully, learn from it, and continue choosing to be better every single day. I'm not asking anyone to forget or to immediately forgive me. Trust is earned through consistent action, and I accept that some people may never see me differently. That is something. That is That is right. I want to make this statement, not because these calls became public, but because I should never have spoken those words in the first place to everyone I hurt, especially me and Andre. I am truly sorry. Okay, so I call bullshit on this whole apology. I really do. Though I was most shocked, if you haven't seen my last video, I have 50 straight minutes of her and Ryan being racist, dropping N word after N word after N word after N word. Okay. I don't know how that flows freely from your mouth, that word. How does it flow freely from your mouth? Over and over and over and over again. I was shocked. I was physically ill making that video. I'm not kidding. I was physically ill making it. And so no, I don't think she's going to be if I was her sister, if I was Andre's family, would you want her at the wedding? At their wedding? I don't think so, right? So I thought I would get into that before I get into that was pretty heavy, I have to say that. So let me lighten it up before I get into the very, very, very mind-blowing stuff that I found. This live stream is going to be about a few women. 3 of them, well, one of them is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. The other 2 are Melissa Moore and Michelle Mastriani. I think that's how you say her last name. I am Italian, but I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Michelle, many of you know, was the ghostwriter that Melissa Moore hired to help ghostwrite Gypsy's ebook and her memoir. Melissa was also a co-author on those projects. Besides that, Melissa Moore befriended Gypsy in prison years before she got out, when Melissa Moore was just a little correspondent on the Dr. Oz show. Melissa Moore, as many of you know, is the daughter of the Happy Face Killer, and she cashed in on that notoriety. In fact, Melissa Moore has no background in journalism. She has no background in communications. A lot of people get communications degrees to become like, a TV executive or a TV, producer, going into media, or you get a journalism degree, right? Melissa has none of that. In fact, before Melissa got her little stint on Dr. Oz, which she was given because Oprah and Dr. Phil befriended her because her dad was the Happy Face Killer, and they wanted to cash in on that story, Oprah and Dr. Phil. They threw Melissa a bone and talked to Dr. Oz, because we know Dr. Oz comes from Oprah. And so they got Melissa a gig as a correspondent over on the Dr. Oz show. While she was there, the Gypsy Rose story broke, and she saw an opportunity. If she could befriend Gypsy in prison, she could talk her into doing these books, the memoir, the ebooks, and maybe even get like a streaming service like Lifetime to maybe want to produce a reality series. That's how that catapulted, and that did happen. That catapulted Melissa Moore into this executive producer. She's an executive producer now. So that's kind of the background. Melissa Moore needed Gypsy Rose to go to that next level. She needed Gypsy. And you're going to hear some phone calls between them that you can tell Melissa's probably like, in fact, Melissa tells Gypsy, I had to talk to my therapist about you. My whole therapy appointment was about you, Gypsy. You're going to hear it. It's a lot. There's a lot to go over. So before I get to like the stuff where we're going to get on a timeline, I want to give you a flavor of how Gypsy was, how invested she was in these projects. And then we're going to get to the crime. We're going to get to the motive. We're going to get to there's a phone call I'm going to show you a phone call, or play you a phone call between Ken and Gypsy. that's going to blow your mind. It blew mine. When I listened to it, I'm sitting here at my little workstation here, and I had to get up and run into the other room and tell Mitch. I was like mad, angry after I heard this audio that I'm going to play for you. All right. But before we get to that, and we will get to it, hold on. I want to play for you just to kind of set the mood for you guys of what was going on between Gypsy and Melissa Moore. Okay. And there's some funny stuff here, some petty stuff. So I wanted to play this first. Okay, here we go. In the beginning of this, Gypsy's going to be talking about how upset she is about the trailer for the new reality series that she calls a documentary. It's not a documentary, it's a reality series.
That we're talking about is not being promoted. Like the wedding and the parole and stuff like that. We're still so focused on the murder. And
okay, that's actually good this is good. This is good feedback.
Melissa's like, you guys, Melissa's like, okay, yeah, Gypsy's complaining about how the production team made the trailer. And in Melissa's mind, she's probably thinking, Gypsy, you're out of, Gypsy's being very arrogant and very narcissistic here, right? This is a production team. They know how to make trailers, but Gypsy's complaining.
So that's
for me, I'm kind of like, okay, the trailer flash, like the first thing, the first trailer was a teaser. Did you see that one?
The only thing I saw was the first one that they made really quick after the release. Yeah, I saw that. That's what I saw.
Okay,
but
and then I see another one, and it has me talking, and it says I've only begun to scratch the surface of what I've been through. Whenever I say been through, it flashes to me having an interview, then it cuts off, and then it has pictures of me as a kid, pictures of me in the wheelchair, and so it's still very focused on the murder. My mom did this. My mom did that. And I think that a lot of new interest would come if it was so I've been, having the secrets. I did this in prison. I did drugs.
Gypsy's mad. The focus of the trailers, the focus of what they're doing is again on her crime. And she wants it to be on her, like what she's doing now. Like she's so effing interesting. Like anyone would really want to know, right? Like she wants it to be about her and Ryan getting married. The arrogance is incredible here.
But whatever, I just think it would pull more new people in.
Okay. This is all good. This is all good. I'll send an email. So I don't know who cuts it. It's not the same production company that does it's not Category 6. It's a different team that does the trailers. I don't know who they are, but I'll send an email to Nicole Vogel, the network, and just say, hey, let me talk to Category 6 first and loop them in that I'm going to be reaching out to the network and telling.
Can you imagine these networks? Like if I don't even know, I doubt she sent any emails, but can you imagine these production companies like, what? Gypsy wants what? It's laughable, right?
And then hey, can we we need to recheck these trailers that are coming out. But you want them, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that you want it to be more focused on the parole and the wedding and the secrets that you're finally telling from prison, not the murder. Okay. I just want to make sure that I get this accurate because, okay. And then maybe as an outcome,
all right, I'm going to fast forward a minute here because Gypsy's going to complain about being fat and looking fat. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't even know they're releasing them right now. It makes sense that they're starting to release trailers now because we're now 30 days.
Yeah.
to release, the release of the doc.
Actually, less than. And so they're starting to come out with more. And I think they put out a sneak peek, which I haven't been able to see the sneak peek, but it's like 1 minute. And that's on lifetime.com. I put it on my Instagram. Ryan's seen it. But I'm kind of like, like I said, the angle that they're coming at is still focusing so much on like the abuse with my mom.
The abuse and the murder. So you want the angle to be on the parole and your marriage.
Yes.
And like the secrets aspect, like a teaser of the secrets are coming out now.
Yes.
Okay. I will send an email. It's easy. It should be easy enough. I'll explain that you're watching them from prison. Is that weird to see them from prison knowing that everybody's going to be watching it when you're out?
At first, I'm not going to lie. Okay, the clip that I saw of myself,
Here she goes, because it's always about how she looks, right?
I know I've packed on 40 pounds. Okay, so the last thing I ever seen of me on TV was Dr. Phil. And granted, I was like 26 when we filmed that. So during the pandemic and everything, I gained like 40 pounds. So instead of being 100 pounds, I'm 140 now. And so my first clip, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so fat.
Oh no.
I didn't even know what my hair looked like because it was from our interview that we did. And
oh my God, yeah,
angles could
it's unfair. It's totally unfair because we don't have anything nice to like help with. Like we can't set you up. I can't touch you. I can't I can't bring a mirror to kind of show you. I can't show you a screenshot of what you look like.
Yeah, I know.
No, it was it's frustrating. So when you're out of prison, there's a lot of other things.
Okay, so basically her complaints here are, look, I hate the trailers because they're about my mom. My mom did this, my mom did that, and it's not about me. It's not about my wedding and me being in prison. Can we just stop talking about the crime? And by the way, I look really fat and I don't appreciate that. Just a little bit more here. You're going to hear Melissa mention filters, and it had me cracking up. As we know, Gypsy and her filters. Melissa's going to school her a little bit about filters.
So you'll never be surprised what you look like on camera. You'll be able to see it in real time. You'll be able to look at yourself on the monitor.
That's such a relief. I mean,
and you'll have I don't know what they use for editing software, but we have tools that get rid of can make you look skinny. We have tools that make you your face looks get rid of wrinkles. We have the same filters that you have for your phone. We have for video editing. It's really incredible.
So cool.
Yeah.
I have to keep that in mind when we're filming for the
I know.
Gypsy, I'll have to keep that in mind. Yeah, she does, right? She's like, that is so cool. Just laughing. All right, one more thing with this call, and then I'm going to get to the hardcore stuff I know that you guys are here for. I just want you to hear Melissa say that she had to talk to her therapist about Gypsy. That's how much Gypsy was infiltrating her life. You know what I mean? All right, I got to fast forward it here and find it. Here we go.
I totally understand. But see, this is what's good is what I don't want to happen for you is that you get into a contract and you dread doing it every week because you don't like it.
It's
Oh, by the way, this call is really long. Maybe I'll probably put it out just as a video. If you guys want to listen to it, it's funny. It's 50 minutes long. And they talk at length in this call about the podcast that has never been, right? No, back then, right before she got out of prison, they were already getting ready for her to do this podcast. And I think Melissa, after everything that happened, I think she's ghosted Gypsy. I don't know. You guys, I know she was at her baby shower, but that was a couple years ago, right? So I don't think Melissa's around her anymore. But Yeah, this is crazy. They were supposed to be doing a podcast together too. And Gypsy's like about the podcast. She's saying like, "Well, I don't want it to be about true crime. I don't like true crime." And Melissa's like, "Okay, well, that's kind of what you're known for, but okay, so what are you interested in, or what do you think you're going to talk about?" And Gypsy goes, "Well, like I like marriage stuff. I like healing. I like talking about, I don't know, parenting." And I can feel Melissa on the other end of this call just thinking, nobody's going to want to listen to Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the mommy murderer, about parenting, right? And no lie, you guys, one line she said to Melissa is, "You know what? I don't really like talking about myself." And I'm like, I could not roll my eyes hard enough. I'm like, oh, all she does is talk about herself. All right, let's just take this. Let's listen to Melissa talk about having to go to the therapist.
I don't want to talk about this shit.
That's what I guess I mean by I take it really seriously, because it's a very big commitment, longer than your TV series.
She's talking about doing a podcast.
Like, the commitment is weekly. Like, you have to show up,
Right.
you know, every week, and you need to backlog some. So you're gonna have to film like 5 episodes pre-launch, so that you have some in the bank. Because if you're like sick, you gotta show up sick. Like, and the reason why you have to show up is you get advertisers. That's how you get paid. Is you get ads, and they have contracts saying it drops on this date. Like, Better Health has to drop on this week. And so if you're sick, you have to do that ad.
Right.
You know? And then I think there's this part of me has a hesitation.
Here.
I totally trust you, and I think you got it all. But when I think, like, my therapy appointment on Thursday was all about you.
What?
It was. I got a safe place to explore my fears, you know, and talk to her about, like,
when I heard Melissa go, I had talked to her about my fears, and I'm like thinking like, yeah, Gypsy's going to murder you if you don't get the podcast going. I mean, I was just laughing listening to this on my own last night.
what is coming down, and I fear that one of my fears is that I love working with you, but I'm afraid, like, all of your deals have me in it, and I don't want you to ever feel like I exploited you. And
God, no.
so that's what I talk to my therapist about, is like, and so I'm going to be just very candor, you know, frank. So I'm kind of scared about another deal with you, because I don't want you to think that I control your life, because all of your deals.
Because last time somebody tried to control your life, they ended up dead, like stabbed 17 times. So, yeah, I don't want you to look. I'm not trying to control your life now, Gypsy.
Will have me looped into them.
Oh my God, I don't feel that way at all. Please don't feel that way, because that is not the case at all.
So part of me was like, I want to leave an opening, because, like, while you may, like, I want you to, well, first, like, it's a great place for me to explore that fear with her. And so my therapist was like, what's the worst case scenario? I'm like, the worst case scenario is that Gypsy's out of prison for a couple months, and she's like, I am controlled by all these deals, and Melissa's in all of them, and I'm not free to do anything new or explore new business relationships. And I never want you to feel controlled. And so, but, like, the nature, and that's what's kind of scaring me about the podcast is, like, well, the TV show's a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 6-month commitment versus, you know, a year commitment, and it's week-to-week commitment.
I understand where you're coming from.
And then I'm in your book. I'm part of your book deals, and I just never. My fear is that you'll get out of prison, you'll be like, you know, resentful.
I don't want you to ever feel that way, because you are helping me. You're a source of, like, you're my business partner and you're my friend. You're my friend first, but you're my business partner. And so I don't consider that exploitation. I consider it, hey, listen, you have avenues and you've been down the road that I am walking. All right. And you're far further on that road than I am. I'm just starting the road.
So in this call, Gypsy says, and we're going to end this call here, and I'll put it up after the live stream if you guys want to listen to the whole 50 minutes. It is pretty interesting. Gypsy's career was going to be in doing a podcast. Melissa Moore in this call tells her, well, like podcasts, like, if they really take off, you can become a multimillionaire. She tells Gypsy that, right? And in this call, Gypsy confirms, well, Melissa, you're not exploiting me. I'm going down your path. You've already done what I want to do, basically. So this was before Gypsy got out of prison. So I don't want to hear Gypsy saying, like, this podcast where it's August now, right? It's the 8th month of the year and we still haven't seen it. I'm telling you, she can't get advertisers. I'm sure of it. But that was going to be, Gypsy was so excited in this call that she was going to be what? Famous, a celebrity, right? And that's why in the beginning of this call, she said, I don't like those trailers. She thought she was going to be able to turn the page on her crime and make the public forget, right, that she's a mommy murderer and like rebrand herself as like this podcaster, this famous, a celebrity in her own right. She doesn't want to be infamous. She wanted to become famous. And she really believed it. And I think Melissa, if you listen to the whole call, is kind of trying to back away from her in a little bit, like, I had to see my therapist and, I'm in all of your deals. Maybe it's better if you, go out, But in the same token, Melissa made a lot of money with Gypsy. She became that executive producer because of Gypsy. And so, yeah, in a way, did she exploit her? Well, I don't know. I'll leave you guys to, yeah, I guess in a way she did. She used her, but Gypsy used Melissa too and Melissa's contacts to get what she wanted. All right, I'm going to take that one down and we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this. As far as your guys' comments go, let me go for about another 10 minutes and then I'll get to some comments. I'll let you guys, if you guys might have other things you want to, await just a little bit more before I get to those, because there's so much that we have to go over that I want to make sure we can fit it all in and we're not here for 2 days going over all this stuff. All right. Okay. So as we all know, Gypsy claimed, the claim was, we all know this, the claim was that she had to murder her mother because Dee Dee was medically abusing her, right? And before the memoir, and that's pre-Melissa Moore, right? Gypsy went on Dr. Phil in 2017, and she did have a couple things to say. Now, I know you guys have seen these clips, but I want to start with a couple clips, and then we're going to build up. Then I'm going to get to the prison phone calls, the ones that I found that just had me pulling my hair out, okay? But I kind of have to lay the groundwork here so we all remember what happened when, so we can just trust me. I have to do it this way so we all understand it. Here's Gypsy from 2017.
Own words, what happened that night?
Well, really, my mother and I had got into an argument 2 days before, and it was about my feeding tube.
It was about my feeding tube, okay? 2017, about my feeding tube.
I'm like, I no longer need this feeding tube. Can we please have it removed? And she said no. And I had an upcoming surgery, and I didn't want to have it, so I asked her, please, tell the doctor I don't need this surgery. I've had it 20 times before. Why do we have to have it again?
Now, she does mention a surgery here, but then she says, but I've had it 20 times before. Why do I have to have it again?
And she's like, there's nothing I can do about it. The doctor wants it. And so I became very numb to plan B.
Okay, so that's what she was saying in 2017, right? Okay. Then the memoir comes out, right? And what is she saying in the memoir? What happens then when the memoir comes out? She says this.
Hysterical, I explore the problem of my squeaky voice. The doctors had been conditioned to not question such a knowledgeable, doting mother. Or maybe they didn't want to face her attitude, the way family members did when they questioned her about my health. So a surgery was recommended to open up my throat to take a peek at my larynx. No biggie. After the beating in the alley, the 2 weeks tied to the bed, the BB gun, the night in the shed, a lifetime of lies, spells, isolation, starvation, emotional manipulation, and medical procedures with life-changing side effects, this unnecessary exploratory surgery on my voice box felt most threatening to me. Any slip of the hand could leave me voiceless, mute forever. This is what I believed. This is what I felt. This is when the thought finally came. It's me or her.
Okay. So this is very clear, right? It's this exploratory surgery on her voice box. She says that was going to happen, that made her feel so threatened that her mom was going to take her voice away. And it was me or her. It was me or her. I had to stop this medical abuse. And this particular surgery was the impetus, right? There goes Keekins. This exploratory surgery now is the reason, right? Now, we don't hear that in 2017. She's talking, yeah, Keekins. Keekins left, she'll be back. In 2017 on Dr. Phil, we hear her talk about her feeding tube, and then she talks about a upcoming surgery, but then she qualifies that upcoming surgery as something I've had 20 times before. Why do I have to have it again? Okay. So which is it? Now, I know that you guys know that after the memoir came out, I found in the I found this appointment was canceled to look at her vocal cord dysfunction syndrome on May 1st, 2015. Now, this was canceled, but I could never say a couple of things. I could never say I have all the medical records. I could never say 100% sure, right? That I know that a surgery like that wasn't scheduled, right? I could never say that. I could point to this being around the same time frame. But again, I could never say 100% until now. After I think you watch this whole live stream, you're going to come to the same conclusion that I have come to, that this excuse, this surgery on her voice box was made out of thin air by a couple of people. These people, they made it up. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it to you. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with the first clip, and we're going to start in 2017. I'm talking about the prison phone calls. Okay. The first one is from 2017. It is going to be between Gypsy and Christy.
Turning to mush because, like, when Francesca and Aria were here, and out, they would start reading stuff. And I'm like, look, I got to take a break. I got to go outside and I got to freaking digest what you just read to me. And it was hard, and, I cried, yesterday. And, like when they got here, and me and Francesca were talking, and I just started crying, and I'm like, she didn't have to go through none of this. It just hurts,
I know. And it's like,
Oh my God.
see, I haven't even seen half of the medical records. Mike had brought in the one, I think it was a surgery done to look at my windpipes or my larynx in my throat.
Right, right.
He read me that from Dr. Beckerman, and then he read me another one from Dr. Flasherstein. But that's the only ones that I've seen, and it was a brief overview of it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what's in those records.
Right. Now, Francesca gave me Cohen's, phone number. No, that's the lawyer.
Okay.
And he said we need to sue also Medicaid.
Oh, yeah. Gosh.
Okay, so Christy goes on here. This is 2017. The important part, then they talk about how they're going to sue everybody, right, for malpractice. And we know, of course, that never happened. The important part about this call is it's 2017, right? You just heard what she wrote in her memoir about this exploratory surgery. It was so scary to her that it caused her to murder her mother. It was the final straw to murder her mother. Yet in 2017, what is she saying? What is she saying? Well, she's saying, I haven't even seen half of the medical record, she says in this call. Mike, that's her attorney, had brought in the one, I think it was a surgery done to look at my windpipe or my larynx in my throat. He read me that from Dr. Beckerman, and then he read me another one from Dr. Flasterstein, but that's the only one I've seen, and it was a brief overview of it. Okay. Nothing like, oh man, that one, that was the one, that was it. But okay. But I got so much better evidence going against her that you're going to see. This is like, yeah, right. If that surgery was something, and it wasn't even a surgery, it was okay. And I'll get to that. Oh, I'm so like worked up about this. Let me tell you. All right. Let me get to the next one here. Okay. This is the one with Ken. And hold on, I got to bring all of these up kind of individually. So bear with me. Oops. Okay. Here we go. This is the one with Ken. This is 2019. Okay. 2019. So she doesn't know Melissa Moore yet.
Oh my God. Okay, so the only thing that's not really allowed in hard copy form.
Well, you know what? I'll post this one too. I'm going to fast forward. The beginning is kind of funny. She's talking to Ken about how he can't send pictures of children shirtless. And I was like, wow, why would he be sending pictures of children shirtless? But I'm going to pass over that because I'm going to get to the medical part of this.
You can still be in your boxers, as I'm told. So. Yeah. So send me your videogram with the Star Wars boxers. You can keep your fucking shirt on and send me a picture.
Okay, I'll try. Can I ask you a question?
Says, can I ask you a question? I know the audio may be bad, so I'm going to interrupt here. He's saying right here, can I ask you a question? And I don't know if Ken remembers this phone call. I doubt he remembers this phone call, but he's going to remember it now.
Were there any kind of operations or surgeries that your mom wanted to do to you, but like you didn't let her, or like stopped her in some way from doing?
Wow. Right? I know the audio is bad, so I've got let me just back it up again. Were there any kind of operations or surgeries that your mom wanted?
To do to you, but like you didn't let her or like stopped her in some way from doing?
You didn't let her or you stopped her some way in doing? I would say murdering her. Murdering her is a way to stop her, right? Wasn't that what we heard in the memoir? Wasn't that it? That this became most important to her. It was me or her. So he asked this question. Let's listen to her answer in 2019.
No,
Okay.
no, not that. I'm thinking about it. No. I know I had an upcoming like procedure that was gonna be done with called a laryngoscopy or so, whatever. It was to look at my larynx, and I had it done already, but the doctor had ordered to have it done again. But last time I had it done, I was asleep, and they were going to do it while I was awake this time, which I've had so many tubes up my nose, and I fucking hate something in my nose that's just like, ugh, I hate it. And so they would have had to go up my nose and down my throat to look at my throat. And I was, yeah, no. I was dreading it. Because I've had previous procedures with tubes up my nose, and that was just like the one traumatic thing. Like that being done, and the test, it was like a retina test where I had to wear hard
Now she's going to talk about her eyes real quick.
contacts. And
okay, so that's it. Then she goes in talking about these tests on her eyes that were really painful and traumatic also, okay? I was like, what? Wait a minute. I thought that surgery procedure, whatever it was, it's in your memoir, right? That was why you had to murder your mother. That was it. Well, not here, right? And Ken asked her, and I'm going to take this down. Were there any kind of operations or surgeries that your mom wanted to do, but like you didn't let her or like stopped her in some way from doing? No. I mean, you guys, this whole lie, the lies, this is the lie, right? There's lies and then there's the lie. And to me, this is the lie because this is what made Dee Dee out to be the monster, right? This is the lie. This medical abuse, but very, specifically, this surgery was highlighted in her memoir as being so atrocious that then she had to call. Then she said she messaged Nick and say, "Hey, will you murder my mom for me? She's gonna kill me. She's gonna, take away my voice." Right? I don't think Ken remembers that. Probably doesn't remember that conversation, but maybe he should start. Maybe I hope he hears this. Do you remember this conversation you had with her? She lied to you, or she's lying. Well, no, I don't think she didn't lie to you. She's been lying to the public for 10 years. And not only that, but when she got together with Melissa Moore and this Michelle ghostwriter, they came up with this, and you're going to hear the phone calls where they come up with it. Yeah, I guess they didn't think that those calls would be heard someday, did they? No, I guess they didn't. All right. Let me get to the next one, and then I'll take a break. So each of these I've had, where is it? Each of these audio clips, I have to bring up one by one just to let you guys know. Oh, and I found something about the micro deletion too that I'm going to go over, but we're going to stick to this surgery, we're going to get to we're going to get to how they made up this lie, basically. And you're going to hear it from Melissa, you're going to hear it from Michelle, and from Gypsy. They're in their discussions here. All right. I'm going to get to the next one now. This is a call between Melissa and Gypsy. So 2019, you hear her talking to Ken, right? And there's no talk about, she mentions this surgery, but it's not like, and then my mom was going to cut my throat, Ken. And that was when I knew, I mean, I had to do something, Ken. We didn't hear that when she talked about that procedure to her voice box, right? So now we're March 3rd, 2022. And now Melissa is on the scene and they're going full throttle in writing this memoir, right? And to sell Gypsy as this heroine and as this victim, right? Here we go.
So with one thing that I was curious about for timeline, the pending surgery, what were you supposed to get? The surgery that was coming up, had that not happened with your mom? Wasn't there a surgery that was coming up?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't there a surgery? Was there a surgery? Like, she doesn't know, right? Like, you would think they've been talking on the phone for a couple of years now. You would think by this time, yes, Rachel, the whole story is absolutely insane. R.I.P. Dee Dee. Absolutely. Amen. You would think by now, right? It's 2022. She's been talking to Melissa for a couple of years. They built up this relationship that Gypsy would have divulged that story. Like, she would have already told her this story, the story that's in the memoir about the surgery, right? That caused Gypsy to snap. So here it's 2022 and Melissa's like, wasn't there like a surgery or something? Wasn't there something?
Had that not happened with your mom? Wasn't there a surgery that was coming up?
Yeah, it was something to do with my neck. And
what do you mean it was something to do with your neck? I thought this is what caused you to murder your mother. What do you mean it was something to do with your neck? What do you see? It was all bullshit, which we kind of knew, but now we've got the proof, right? Finally, we've got the proof.
my larynx, it had something to do with my throat. I don't know the proper name for it or anything, but it had to do with my neck.
Did you recall the dates that surgery was scheduled for?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't it be by around the time you murdered your mom? If that was the reason, wouldn't that be your answer? Well, because Melissa, like I told you before, this was the surgery that caught, this was the thing that pushed me over the edge. Remember, Melissa, I told you that story. I don't know when it was. I don't know. It's lies, right?
Okay. We'll find it. I'm just curious when it was scheduled. We might not be able to find it because if it's not in.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you found it.
Charts because it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. We'll see. The throat surgery is supposed to happen. And what did you feel about that surgery? Did you have any bad feelings, or what did you think of that?
I felt very frustrated because I don't know, for some reason.
Not scared for my life? What do you mean? I was frustrated. Yeah, I was frustrating. I mean, and you're going to see, we're going to get into calls. You're going to see how this whole story develops. You're going to see how it all develops, these shysters, these scammers, these liars.
And, I just had enough. Like, it was like another surgery. Like, at some point during around that time.
And put a pin in that. Another surgery. Put a pin in that thought for a minute, okay? I'm going to come back to that. Another fucking surgery? Yeah, Gypsy, give me a break.
I'm like, this enough with the surgeries. and I was very fearful. There
Oh,
was just something about it that didn't feel
you can almost feel Gypsy like the gears turning in her mind. You know, I was talking to Mitch about this last night. You can almost hear the gears turning in her mind. Like, yeah, I was fearful. Yeah, like she's developing it. You know what I mean? They're, you know what's going on.
right. And that made me more scared than normal.
Oh,
I don't know what it
more scared than normal. Not I need to murder her over this, but yeah, more scared than normal. But in 2017, she didn't know anything about it. With Ken, it was like, yeah, I was having some procedure I didn't like. They had to put something in my nose. And then she goes on to talk about eye things. Now, a couple years later, yeah, I was scared. It was kind of frustrating, frightened me.
was, but it's just like, this is not necessary, you know?
And did you talk about it with your mom? Did you tell her this isn't something you
You
wanted to
have
do?
1 minute left.
I mean, of course I did. Of course I did. And, you know, it was just, she's like, oh, it's scheduled or whatever. It's not up for debate, you know? I mean, it's not something that I had a say in the matter. I couldn't be like, I
Right.
don't want to have this surgery. It's just, it was what it was. It was already scheduled, and she wouldn't change her mind.
And at that point, I mean, I totally understand, Gypsy. I'm not questioning, you know, that.
The caller
Yeah,
has hung up.
So
Okay, so
with,
the call stops there. The call, you know, it abruptly ends at that point. But now you see where we're at. You're seeing how this is progressing and the kind of conversations they're having about it. Okay, and we're not quite there yet. We're going to murder over it yet, but we're kind of, you know, we're starting to, and then you're gonna hear Michelle on calls coming up, where they really start throwing around this idea. And in fact, Michelle's going to say, you know what? I think we should take liberties with this story. You guys understand what that means, right? Meaning we'll take liberties with it. You know, okay, so it wasn't totally true what we're going to be saying, but we're going to take liberties, right? We're going to take artistic liberties with this story. No, you don't do that with a true crime story. All right? You don't do that to someone who was murdered to make her look like a monster. I just could not believe what I heard in these calls, and it only gets worse from here. All right, I'm going to stop sharing that one. I said, put a pin in Gypsy saying, oh, I'm having so many surgeries. You know, how come enough with the surgeries? Yeah, right. Okay, let's go over this real quick. I know you guys know this because I've gone over it before, but I think, well, let's just say it again for new people or like people that, I don't know, maybe don't know this, but Gypsy's surgical procedures. This isn't including her eye surgeries, the eye surgeries that she has said she needed. Okay. These are all the surgeries. In 2001, she had the G tube placed after being 1 month in a feeding hospital. Okay. Weight went from 36 pounds to 57 pounds. Definitely needed. Placement of a G tube. Okay. At the same time as that surgery happened, or the placing of the G tube, they did this laparoscopic procedure called a Nissan fundoplication. And that is just helping with the acid reflux. They do those two procedures together. And it's not like she's sliced open. They place the G tube and then the Nissan is laparoscopic. Okay. So these aren't like major surgeries. All right. They're more like procedures. Then in 2001, also, she had a biopsy to her muscle, her thigh. It's not really a surgery, it's a biopsy. Her most major surgery, though, and her only real surgery, if you really want to talk about the definition of a surgery, was the salivary gland removals. Okay. And that was after 2 years of treatment, poor swallow study test, where it showed significant trouble swallowing all consistencies of fluids and food. And then the doctors opted to remove 2 of the 6 major salivary glands. That's it. That is the sum total of her surgeries. The last one was in 2006. Okay. So this procedure she's talking about to her windpipe, okay, her voice box, as much as I know, because I don't have any medical records on it, but based on the other phone calls I listened to when she was describing it, it's more of like a scope to look down her throat, to look at her larynx, and it's not an exploratory surgery. They're going down her nose. It can be done in the doctor's office. This was not a exploratory surgery, as far as I know. All right. But again, what's important here is that they made up this story around it to fit the narrative they wanted to sell everyone. All right. Let me get to the next call. It is crazy. And this one, can't remember who this one is. Couple of them, one's with Ryan, and then there's a couple with this Michelle lady. Yeah, this one right here. Okay, here we go. This is August 2022. So the last one we just listened to, that was in March with Melissa, right? Where Melissa's kind of fishing. Like, what was that surgery? You heard it. Okay. It was, kind of bringing up the subject. So now in August of 2022.
Or the sample. So since I know you have limited time.
Okay. This is with the ghostwriter. So this call is going to be between Gypsy and Michelle. And Michelle's the one who really develops this theme.
Because this is your break. Let me just start. This is the first the sample chapter we're putting in with the book proposal. And so Melissa's reading it. And there were just some questions as I was going along, like, and it may seem kind of random, but that's just because I'm just going to go in kind of the order of the chapter. So if it's okay with you, I'll jump in. So when you and your mom were like at Walmart, say, and if you would shoplift something.
Okay, I'll post this one after too. So I made this like a bigger clip because first she goes over them shoplifting, and then she talks about, or I'm going to just fast forward for time. They talk about the Oragel.
And you're sitting in that front area.
Yes, under my dress.
So talking about shoplifting.
And did she tell you like why she was doing it, or would she just do it and you just knew that, oh, it's going to make me drool? Or
so here Gypsy is what I believe. I cannot prove what I believe is a lie. Do not believe Dee Dee put Oragel on her gums to make her drool, to have that salivary gland procedure, because they worked her up for 2 years. They treated her for 2 years, and we know her tongue thrust. We know her high arch palate. We know all about that, right? And so, yeah, I believe she had excessive saliva. I believe she had that problem, that Dee Dee was not trying to manifest that problem. But this is what Gypsy's telling Michelle, sorry.
Did you not know?
She didn't tell me like the reason why she was putting it on, and she just was like, "Okay, come on," and she would put it on a Q-tip and just put it on my mouth, and it would make my mouth numb. She didn't give an excuse why. She just like would do it.
Okay. And then what do you think, like leading up to the summer of 2015, like what do you think was
Now here's the important part.
On her mind? Like, do you have any idea? Did you have a surgery scheduled?
Now remember, Melissa and Michelle are partners. In fact, they've written a couple books together themselves. So they're speaking, behind the scenes, right? And Michelle and Melissa's telling Michelle, hey, you might want to ask her about this surgery. I'm sure this is what happened, because now we have Michelle coming up and asking her about this scheduled surgery. And she's saying, like, in 2015, what was going on? This is the year of the murder. What is Michelle's job? Her job is to make Gypsy look like a heroine, like, right? Like this victim, this woman who overcame hardship. And so she's sussing her out. She's fishing about this surgery. They're thinking, her and Melissa, this is my humble opinion, by the way. Obviously, I don't, this is my humble opinion. These calls are facts. Right? But based on what I've heard, and I've heard hundreds of calls now over the last week or so, and especially between these people, I believe Melissa and Michelle were behind the scenes trying to figure out, they needed to come up with something for Gypsy, because I think they really knew that she murdered her mom and it had nothing to do with medical abuse. I think they kind of knew that. So knowing that now, that they were talking and that their job and their money, the money that they were going to get was based on selling Gypsy as this heroine, right? Okay.
Then what do you think, like leading up to the summer of 2015, like what do you think was on her mind? Like, do you have any idea? Did you have a surgery scheduled?
I believe, yeah, I did have an upcoming procedure. I think it was called like a it was something to do with like my larynx. It was like a larynx.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever. It's like a biopsy, or to take a closer look at my larynx. And I guess the doctor didn't know why do I have such a high pitched voice? Did it have something to do with my larynx? Whatever. So I did have that upcoming.
Okay, and so that's what you knew about, that you were upcoming. And do you know roughly when that was planned, or?
I think it was set for like August.
Okay, so as a journalist, this is what's on Michelle's mind. I need a timeline. I need to know when this was to see if it will fit. Will this fit the murder? Like, when was this? Gypsy saying, I think like August. Again, Gypsy not knowing and not relating this procedure to the murder, meaning, well, I know it was in May, or I know it was in April, or because I know this is the reason why I had to murder my mom. This was the, this was this is my snapping point. She's not saying that.
I'm sure on that.
And then what if? Oh wait, you're sort of crackling. What did that worry you? Like, were you afraid? Okay, now on top of it, maybe I'm not going to be able to talk, or?
See, Michelle is leading her. It's like leading the witness. Michelle's leading her. Like, weren't you afraid you weren't going to be able to talk? You get what's going on here, right? Instead of allowing Gypsy to just volunteer the information, Michelle is saying, well, were you going to be scared? You couldn't talk, right? I'm telling you guys, this pisses me off. Jesus. Talk about bad journalism. Talk about, oh God,
It did worry me. The pain worried me the most. Because usually with all of my surgeries or procedures, I'd be put under general anesthesia. And this time she did not ask the doctors to do that, put me under anesthesia for this procedure. And it required like a large tube going in my throat. And I had to
yeah, it could be done in a doctor's office. You didn't need to be put under for this, okay?
here. So there was like that element that I didn't want that to happen, and to some degree, that played into, pushing I guess a pro to commit my crime, because I knew that if it didn't exist, then the procedure wouldn't be done. So
So now Gypsy has moved the goalpost, right? Where in 2019 she's talking to Ken, or 2017 when she's talking to Christy. Yeah, I think Mike talked about something with my larynx, or like he was, I don't know, right? Then we get to 2019 and Ken specifically asked her, was there a surgery that, you tried to stop your mom from doing for you? Did you try? Huh? No. Okay. It's like, wow. All right. Now, after talking to, and I'm saying the number of phone calls between like Melissa and Gypsy and Michelle and Gypsy, there's a lot. Okay. I mean, it's going to take me days to get through all of them. There's a lot. All right. So they're developing this scenario with her, and now Gypsy's bringing it along. They're playing a little game, kind of,
Uh-huh. So that was like kind of hanging over your head.
So that was kind of hanging over your head, right, Gypsy? Well, I thought this was the reason she murdered her mom. I know I'm like a broken record, but there's a reason I'm a broken record, because this was supposed to be what that was, not discussing it like this. It should have just been Gypsy telling them, well, okay, so the reason I murdered my mom was this procedure was going to happen. It was right? We're discussing this. We're fleshing out this idea called like fleshing it out, right? And then you're going to hear even Michelle go further in literally fleshing it out.
Let me see. Okay. The next one is, I got that. Okay. Did your dad ever visit you in Springfield, or did your mom kind of manage to sort of, oh, no, it's not a good time, or?
He never visited me while we were living in Springfield. I know that he said that there was some attempts that they would, be passing through that area to go on vacation.
Okay, so she just tells the old story about how her dad was a derelict dad, and her mom kept Rod from them, all those lies, which we know are lies too now, okay? And I'll post this one too if you guys want to hear the whole thing. This clip is 8 minutes. We've listened to a couple minutes of this clip that have to do with the so-called motive and how Michelle and Melissa were developing that motive with Gypsy. All right. I'm going to get to the next clip, and then after this one, I'll get to, because we're over the hour mark, we'll do comments, okay? Let's get to this next one, though. Did I do that one? Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right, guys.
Little girl had a giant smile. Too bad.
Okay, so here was August. This is a couple days after that call with Michelle, and we've got Ryan now on the phone, and he's reading to Gypsy from like the summary. They're writing the book, and he's like giving Gypsy. He's reading parts of it to Gypsy. It's not the final draft or anything, obviously.
Stunned look, and Aunt had nicknamed her Possum, but the little girl had a giant smile. Too bad for her teeth. Too bad her teeth were either rotten or missing. This was either a side effect
facility and may be monitored and recorded.
This was either a side effect of a medication for seizures or came from the operation Dee Dee insisted she get to control her constant drooling. First Botoxing and then removal of some salivary gland. It was hard to know. Leading up to summer 2015, Dee Dee had a lot on her mind. So did Gypsy. Who remembers there was a surgery plan for, so did Gypsy, who remembers there was a surgery plan for August, a biopsy of her larynx.
For August, okay? So this is kind of like this is just a couple days after that last phone call we heard, and it sounds like Ryan's reading kind of like what Michelle has kind of like produced, right? Written. She's the ghostwriter. Ryan's like reading it to Gypsy, right?
What's your larynx, baby?
Larynx is it's in your throat. It is like the part of your throat that opens and closes whenever you breathe and when you talk, and it kind of is your vocal cords and stuff like that.
Okay, you were about to have a biopsy in August? Okay.
Did you hear her? That was like, he's like, oh, you were going to have a biopsy in August? And she's, right? Like this is not true. She knows it, but okay, right? Now it's been written down.
Dee Dee wanted to get to know why Gypsy's voice was so high. Gypsy was especially nervous this time, terrified of the tube that would have to be in her throat for the procedure. The pain mostly worried me, she said. Usually for my surgeries, I would be under general anesthesia, but this time my mom didn't ask for it. Dee Dee was the sole caregiver for 19-year-old Gypsy, who had been in a wheelchair bound for years. Due to what Dee Dee told everyone was a chromosomal disorder, Gypsy was
the truth, right? There's some truth.
Small for her age, whatever that even was. She'd had sleep apnea since she was a few months old and still used one of those Darth Vader breathing machines at night. She didn't seem. You didn't have sleep apnea though, did you?
No.
Your mom just made you wear that fucking machine. I'm sure it didn't help, huh?
Yeah, it kind of sucks. It's harder to breathe with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Lisa.
All right. She didn't seem to really understand. Let's see, where was that? All right. She didn't seem to really understand things, which actually might have been for the best, since maybe that meant she had little idea of her grim prognosis: leukemia, seizures, muscular dystrophy, and a long list of surgeries on her ears and eyes, and more to come. You had surgeries on your ears, baby?
Yeah.
She had tubes put in her ears. The things that she thinks are surgeries is another thing that's mind-boggling. Okay, so the point of this call is a couple days you see after she talks to Michelle, that Michelle just has now inserted this story. It's not in its final form, right? Number one, she's calling it a procedure. Number two, she's saying it's in August and it's a biopsy. It's not a surgery. She's not calling it an exploratory surgery in this part yet. We're building on that. We're going to build on the lie, right? So that is the purpose of listening to that phone call. I'm going to take, and we got a couple more where we're going to hear Michelle, the worst one. Besides the Ken one, the next Michelle one is going to like your mind, okay, about what she says about Dee Dee and stuff. All right, I'm going to take that one down and let's get to some of your comments. All right, guys. All right. Want to thank Free. I love that picture of Ken eating that free Ken Urker, 10 Jules. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. At Lisa Evans, member for 16 months. Wow, Lisa. The Exals with Ryan have got worse. Love you, Becca. Love you too. I know it's getting worse. I know the calls with Ryan have gotten worse. Yeah, I leave that to Ghost and others. Some of that but it's I got my popcorn out for most of that. Definitely. All right. Next up, we got Ann Francis, one of my loyal mods for 13 months. Thank you, Becca, for all you do. Time to cancel this racist, pedo, deviant, sex freak, murderer, and get her offline. Love you all. Absolutely. And I think these calls, besides like outing them as the racist and the pedos and all of that, the stuff that I'm covering on this live stream also is going to help with that, because I think, hey, I want to write to Ben Bella Books. Okay. How could you allow this Michelle Mastrioni and Melissa Moore take your publishing company and not do the adequate research needed and like publish lies like that, right? About a woman that was murdered. It's not just any lie, right? All right, thanks, Ann. I appreciate you so much. Next up, we've got Wendy Williams enters the chat. Hey, girl, how are you? Still lurking in the background. I know. I've seen you around, Wendy. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you lurking. And we've got Jill B, who's been here. She's a loyal member also. Thanks for going live at Becca's Goose. Well, Jill B, thank you for being here. You're always here, and I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. We've got a Honey Floor member for 15 months. Exposed Gypsy Rose murderers are not influencers. Okay, absolutely. This is the problem, right? This is the problem, and we're on it. All of us are on it, right? Abs Marlowe, 5 pounds. Can't wait to watch the rest of this in the morning. I'm sorry for you guys. Yeah, across the pond. I know you guys, if you're even still in chat, thank you so much for being up so late to watch this. But yeah, replay crew, thank you guys for being here too. I wonder if she's losing sleep over all this coming out or if she honestly doesn't care. From what I've listened to, what she really, really cares about is her social media presence. And I think she's trying to make a go on Instagram. I think she's trying to make Instagram her new place. And so I think we all need to go to Instagram and start publishing the racist stuff. And I think that will be something she is not going to like. So yeah, I think she does care about it as it's going to affect her, not how as it's going to affect anybody else, or that she hurt her sister, or that she hurt Andrew. Andre, sorry, Andrew, Andre. I don't think she cares about that at all. It's how does it reflect on her, right? All right, let me get to a couple more here. We got Cloud Megs, who became a new member. Welcome aboard the Truth Train, Cloud Megs. So happy to see you here. I hope you like the live. Okay, we got another one also at Karen Myers, 1980, also became a member. Welcome, Karen. So happy to see you here. Everyone, welcome our new members. Please welcome the new members. And oh, well, no, she just updated. You've been a member for 7 months. Okay, Karen. Sorry. Thank you for being a member for 7 months, Karen. I appreciate that so much. Okay, let's do a couple more. Murray 5822, also a member for 5 months. Truth Train, absolutely. Murray 5822, thank you for being here. And thank you for being a member. I want to thank all of our members so much. You guys don't know how much it means to me. I think this is Slayer Wolf, member for 8 months. It's kind of weird how this is on my screen. Like it's like ... I don't know if that's a new YouTube thing. Like it kind of cuts off your name as you see there, but most of you, I know your guys' name. So that's one good thing. All the calls, loving it. The mask is down around her knees by now. Yeah. Absolutely. And Slayer Wolf, thanks for being here. And thanks for being a member for 8 months. The Rav, so I don't know how to say your name. The Dravenol became a member. Please, I'm sorry, I butchered your name, but I love your picture. I love you. Got beautiful eyes. Thank you for being here and thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate that a lot. Okay, couple more. Stacia 420, member for 8 months. Cancel Gypsy, cancel Ryan on all platforms. Thank you, Becca, and all content creators moving towards the greater good. Yes, everybody, these calls have got to be a group effort. That's why, I try to like cover stuff maybe other people aren't covering. There's so many content creators out there that are doing really good work. 1980s, like posting all of them. She's killing it. Audacious Audrey's posting a lot of them. I've decided to just kind of stick to certain themes and certain content. So I think it's working out great. I think we're going to get through all of them. Okay. Next up, we got Love Me Some Pam Cakes 609 $4.99. Only trash thinks being rich and famous is driving a Mercedes, right? Anyone can drive a Mercedes. That's right. Anyone can. I agree with that, Pam Cakes. I agree with that. That's not being rich and famous. It definitely shows her mentality, right? All right, we've got, I'm not sure her moon something. I'm not sure. You've been a member for 10 months, but is it Moon Pop? I'm so sorry. I don't know your whole entire name, but I know who you are. I know your icon there. Canada is not for sale. I love it. I love that. Remember, for 10 months, Gypsy and everyone in her orbit are grifters and liars. Sickening. It is. It's sickening to see this woman, Michelle, who supposedly, I'm going to show you her little bio, New York Times best-selling author. Like, the next call I'm going to play for y'all, making up something about a woman that was murdered. And you're a journalist? It is shocking. It is shocking. All right, let me get to a couple more. Tori Grace, $4.99. Becca, I've been a silent fan since the beginning. Thank you, Tori Grace. I really appreciate that. Thank you for coming forward too. Thank you for all you have done in educating people. Always excited when you post or go live. Tori Grace, thank you so much for coming out of the bushes. Thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it so much. All right, a couple more, and then we'll get back to the show, and then we'll do more comments. My girl Chrissy, this is Getting Weird TV, $9.99. Oh, that's so generous of you. Thank you so much. Took the night off to be here, choking on my popcorn, mad as fuck right now, right? Thank you, Becca. If you guys aren't, and Chrissy, if you want to drop your link in the chat, you are welcome, or maybe one of my mods can get it. I was over at her live, and it is really good. She covers other things besides Ryan, but her Ryan content is like, it's epic. If you guys like some good Ryan content, go over there at This Is Getting Weird TV. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll do one more, and then I will get back to it. At Ronnie, member for 3 months. I am blown away by all this. Thank you, Becca, and all who fight for the truth. Well, at Ronnie, I don't see the rest of your name, but I know who you are, and you've been a member for 3 months. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you for, backing my channel. It means so much to me. All right, guys. Let me go ahead, and we'll end with Ronnie, and we'll come back then wait. Yeah, let me go that. Okay. I'm back. Here we go. Let's get to the next clip, okay? All right. Give me a minute here. There's like so many clips. I want to get to the right one. That one was Ryan, right? Yeah. Okay. I think the next one is going to be this one. I'm trying to keep them in order, And what I did was I published them on privately on my channel so I could have the captions, because sometimes it's hard to listen to them. So let's go ahead and listen to this one. Here we go. Here we go.
My mom was. I really feel like it was. But with how I knew how my mom was, I really feel like it was something psychological, that if she could have gotten therapy, she was diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia when she...
No, she wasn't. Not that I know of. Okay. I know Gypsy keeps saying this, but I have never seen that Dee Dee was legitimately diagnosed. Number one, you can't be diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia at the same time. You can't. You can't. Okay. If you have bipolar symptoms and schizophrenic symptoms, it's called schizoaffective disorder. Right. So that's why her saying bipolar and schizophrenia, I'm like, no, she was not. Okay.
She was a little younger, and so she was not taking medication for that. And so maybe she was on her meds. Maybe things would have been different. But I can't focus on the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. I'll get too deep into that, rabbit hole. But I think that's why it's so important for me now to take what has happened, and the choice that I made to commit murder was never the right choice. So my mission now is to take what I've done and what she had did and make it worth something. So
Yeah.
I think it's really important for me to get out as much awareness about Munchausen by proxy as I can, and really try to focus in on mental health and the importance of that, and
Yeah.
just make it so it's not in vain. And maybe perhaps make people, because right now I think people kind of villainize her, and that was never my intent. From the moment I
Right. Never my intention.
got arrested, that was never my intent to have TV shows and books and specials make her out to be a villain. That is not ever what I wanted. And actually, I felt a lot of heartbreak and responsibility just for the simple fact that I was in the situation. So people would tell me, yeah, your mom deserved what she got. I'm like, no, she didn't. I'm like, she was a sick woman, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
I wasn't educated enough to see that. I just thought she was a bad mom. I was desperate to get out of that situation. But now, in hindsight, I'm like, I really wish somebody could have seen the signs and helped her and helped
Yeah. Yeah. What you say desperate. What state of mind do you remember being in when it all happened? Was it
So this is Michelle. This is again. What state of mind? Was it panic? What leading?
panic? Was it?
It was panic, desperation, at wit's end, because I was facing yet another surgery pretty soon, and I really did not want to have the surgery.
What was this one for?
It was, again, it was something, it was work on my neck to something about my voice and my vocal cords and my voice box, to figure out like why my voice is so high pitched. And they thought, the doctors attributed that to maybe a breathing issue, so they were going to do surgery on my larynx. And at that point, I was just not having it. I'm like, I do not want to have the surgery. I expressed that to my mother. There was no debating it. She's like, you're having it, and that's it. There's no discussion to be had. And I felt in my heart like, please change your mind. This life needs to change. And it's not like I didn't think about every other option besides murder. I did. And I even ran away from home. And within 4 hours, she found me and brought me back. And she put in place paperwork saying that I was incompetent and she had power of attorney over me. So if I was to run away again,
She did not have power of attorney over her. Of course, Gypsy will lie and say, but I didn't. I thought she did. Okay, but she did not. Okay. As far as her running away to be with Dan, it was Dan's people at the place that called Dee Dee and said, come get your girl. I'm not saying Dee Dee wouldn't have tried to go find her. Obviously, she was 19-year-old, and you know how Gypsy was. Dee Dee, of course, would have tried to go find her. Didn't want her messing around with a 36-year-old man, right? I get it. But the point is, these people called Dee Dee and told Dee Dee, come get her.
cops would just believe that I'm mentally incompetent, and they put me back in her care anyway. And so, I was trying really hard to figure out another way. And that's when a conversation between me and my codependent Nick had one night when we were in our, online relationship. And he said, I would do anything to protect you. And I said, anything? He said, yes. I said,
this might not be with Michelle because this is 2023. I'll have to look it up. But the point is, now in 2023, you're hearing her as the story develops, right? You're hearing her flesh out this. Yeah, it was this procedure now, right? In 2017, we don't hear about it. Dr. Phil, we don't hear. She talks about her feeding tube with Dr. Phil, right? 2019 with Ken, we've got, what she says with Ken. When Ken asked her this question, was there any kind of operations or surgeries that your mom wanted to do, but you didn't let her or stopped her in some way from doing? Of course, the answer would have been, yeah, this procedure to my voice box. Actually, that was one of the reasons why I got Nick to kill her, right? What does Gypsy say in 2019? No, not that I'm thinking about it. No, I know I had an upcoming like procedure that was going to be done like on my larynx or whatever, right? So now in 2023, you see where we're at. You see how the lie progresses or develops, so to speak. I believe with the help of Michelle and Melissa. So I'm going to take that one down. Don't worry, I'm getting to that call with Michelle. That's so maddening, very maddening. Let me get to it. All right, where are we at now? We played that one, 2023. Okay. Yeah, this one. Share it, screen share. Hold on. Thanks you guys for being so patient with how I have to do this. All right, here we go.
His mind why divorce wasn't an option.
No, what might be a good, I mean, I'm fascinated by this larynx exploratory surgery.
This is with Michelle. I'm fascinated. This is Christmas Eve 2023. Christmas Eve 2023. Gypsy's getting out in a couple of days, right? She gets out on the 28th. This is the 24th. And Michelle is really heavy in writing this memoir now, right? And so Michelle says, I'm really interested in this story, right? Back it up.
This larynx exploratory surgery. I'm wondering if like that could even be an opener. That then leads to flashback, right? Because maybe we do, you know,
hey, that could be an opener. This is the call. Here's the call where we're going to flesh it out and we're going to, you know, take creative liberties with this so-called story, right? This isn't a truthful story. This isn't about the truth. This is about what will make Gypsy look good and what will make her look like she's such a victim. Well, yeah, her mom wanted to cut her throat. This is what Michelle's going to say in this call.
Take a little liberty with the discussion about like
a little liberty. Did you hear it? Do you see it? You know, let's take a little liberty with the discussion about like.
Are you trying to literally take my voice from me? Like
see? Michelle loves the story now, right? About the voice box. Cause she goes, man, we can take liberties with this now. Like your mom's literally trying to take your voice away. Yet back in 2017, when she's being interviewed by Dr. Phil, we don't hear anything about this.
That's a theme, right? The theme of control, absolute control.
Okay.
It, you know, the fact that it's coming to a head, you know, she and you are both maybe, you know, you have that standoff, right? Where with the BB gun and all this, we'll write, we won't open with that, but I'm just saying, like, what if it's like, you open with like, you're putting the gun on the mantle a little, you know, saying, you're not going to say yes.
We could open like with the discussion of, say me saying how I had previous surgeries on my throat. Okay.
Previous surgeries on my throat. You had 2 salivary glands removed. Okay. That's it. What do you mean? Like all these surgeries on your throat, right? Like she told Dr. Phil, I have multiple surgeries on my legs, multiple surgeries on my throat. You have multiple surgeries on your legs. What are you talking about? But here now, Gypsy and Michelle, they're in the zone here. They're in the zone creating this fiction that they're going to sell the public.
Because I had the salivary gland surgery on my throat, which I still have the scars. They're pretty noticeable. And
they're pretty noticeable. I still got the scars. Like, you know, like Gypsy's like, this is going to work. This is going to work. Yeah, she's going to wish she'd never gone. Yeah, absolutely, Katie. Absolutely.
Discuss how I was dreading having this upcoming exploratory surgery to figure out, why my voice was so high pitched. That might be a really good opener because
Yeah.
That could be a really good open. Gypsy's like helping her write the book now. This is how we will open with this. Not only is this not a true story, but now they're going to open with this story. I mean, do they have no morals, ethic? Well, we know Gypsy doesn't, but this woman.
the medical aspect of it is what sets it apart from other murder cases.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So open with that, and then, lead that into where it's building. Because isn't in storytelling you have to build and to this like climax?
Yep.
And you have to like de-escalate this, the story too, kind of like
Yeah.
calm down. So,
Yep.
I think the calm down could be.
Now Gypsy's like writing it too. Well, I mean, she's supposed to be writing it. It's her memoir, but I mean, the technique of writing it, right? Gypsy's like trying to give the so-called journalist, the so-called author, like tips on how to write a book. I mean, Gypsy, the arrogance, right?
Like my childhood.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
explaining that. And
Yeah.
then another build up would be like my release day.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think that throat surgery and again, like I hate to like put all this into your, words in your mouth for you, but like I think
I hate to put words in your mouth for you. And she's talking about the throat surgery.
that the voice and the speaking and the control is all symbolized, right, through that, without having to say, Mama, those controlling me. That's the showing part, is like, don't you see the symbolism of this? Like, why is it all about my mouth and my throat?
Right.
Like you're shoving.
Like my teeth, my
Yeah.
salivary glands. Before they removed my salivary glands, they were shooting Botox to make them inactive.
Yeah, Gypsy, they were doing everything they could to stop you drooling before they decided to do any surgery. It's called conservative medicine. They were trying to do everything else, but no, according to you, your mom just snapped her fingers and they would do a surgery, right? But here you're telling on yourself by telling her about the Botox that they injected into your glands to try to quiet them down from producing so much saliva. That's what they were doing, right? But here, this whole discussion, I mean, that's just a minor point. This whole discussion right here is a lie. She doesn't talk about this after she was arrested. There's no talk about this throat surgery to Dr. Phil or in any other interview, which I'll show. I have a little clips of leading up to this. All the other interviews she did when she's asked about this, not once does she talk about this surgery. To note, and she did a lot of interviews. It wasn't until she met these two women that this became the motive.
And then my mom would just put like more Orajel on my mouth. And so I would drool more at the hospital. And so where they're like, the Botox is no longer working. So we're going to go with something a little bit more permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they
Exactly.
took out the salivary gland.
Yes.
Right. And then you also have this tube, the feeding, the oxygen mask, where you're contained and muzzled at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like we could
all of it.
So I don't know if Gypsy still needed the CPAP machine at night. She did need it. She was, as a child, and there's documented evidence. Okay, sleep studies where she did have low oxygen. All right. She had the overnight sleep studies. And I do believe her grandfather, who remembers the alarm going off when she was an infant. So I believe she probably grew out of this somewhat. The point with that also is she needed it. Did she need it at 24? I don't know. But she did need it as a child. And it probably saved her life.
It turn these things into symbols.
We can. I think that would be a really good idea. Turn it into, because I mean, turn it into some symbols, and put a lot of emphasis on that. And I think that because me not wanting to have that surgery was such a big, and that fear was such a big pushover that kind of tossed me over the edge, you know? So
What are you talking about, Gypsy? What are you talking about? In 2017, you're talking to Christy about it, and you mention it on the fly that Mike had talked about 2 procedures. This was one of them. You don't talk about how it pushed you over the edge. You go on to a different subject. In 2019, Ken asked you point blank about surgeries, and did you ever try to stop your mom because of surgeries? And you say no. Then you mention this procedure and other procedures, but not that it caused you to do anything.
I think by putting emphasis on that and just have that be like, okay, this is the snapping point.
Oh my
This is where
God.
I'm like, I've had it up to
This is the snapping point now. Well, it wasn't with Dr. Phil. You told Dr. Phil something about your feeding tube.
here with unnecessary surgeries, and I'm realizing I've found out.
I showed you the surgeries. She didn't even have a lot of surgeries. She had 3 well, 1 surgery, 2 procedures, and 1 biopsy. And then she had eye surgeries. I think she had 4 eye surgeries, which she, again, has admitted the eye surgeries were needed. So when we're talking about unnecessary surgeries, according to Gypsy, there's only one really, and that's the salivary gland. That's the only true surgery, okay, that she needed based on medical evidence that I've seen, okay? Then she had 2 procedures done at the same time, the placement of the G-tube and the Nissan fundoplication. Those were done at the same time. That's the sum total. I've had 3 C-sections. I've had more surgeries than you to my body. Okay, I'm not counting the eyes, Gypsy. I've had more surgeries to my body than you have. So shut up. It's just ridiculous.
I realize this is unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then go from there where, it goes
Yeah.
to night of the murder and the events that followed after, and then do a flashback to childhood or something like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want the childhood to be expressed and fully laid out.
Oh, definitely. I mean, especially with Claude, and then you have, just there's so much to cover in terms of just even some of the witchcraft and that's why I asked you about your culture, your traditions. I mean, there's so much to, that people want to know you. So part of knowing you is, what is your culture like? What was living in Louisiana like? The whole thing that happened with getting kicked out of your home. I mean, when your mom was like, "Thanks, brother," and then you're out, and then that starts her going on the run. I mean, that paints so much context and layers. So I'm really excited about that. But I think this idea to open with this surgery, this is the part that nobody knows.
This is the part nobody knows. Yeah, because it's not true, idiot. She had so many interviews before this. Never mentioned it once. That's crazy, right? I mean, if it was true, she would have mentioned it somewhere before 2023, you think? Let's open with this surgery. Let's open with the surgery. I mean, I'm telling you, this blew my mind. I was like, you didn't say anything to Christy in 2017. You don't say anything to Ken in 2019 when he asked about it. Oh, but then Melissa Moore comes along and this Michelle lady. And all of a sudden, they're kind of asking you at first, hey, did you have a surgery? Was there a surgery you were having around the time of the murder? Was there you saw how it progressed.
Them right up front. but, you know, and then make these
Exactly.
metaphors so that, you know, and then maybe it just,
Yes, these women help villainize the victim because she wasn't the perfect one. Exactly, at Just Whitney. Exactly.
that chapter just ends with going on Facebook Messenger and being like, I don't know, did you just call him Nick, or did you call him Master, or did you just
my
like
God.
reach out and say,
That would be a different time. So I would call him Nick for just to address him regularly. And unless he instructed me to call him Victor or the
I'm going to fast forward. I can't remember if there's anything else in this one or not. I don't think so.
but she just did it like as part of your morning. Like,
yeah, she would do it like in the waiting room too. Like it wasn't even like
Oh, she's talking about the Oragel.
put her in the mouth.
Oh, wow.
So there's the Oragel lie again. Okay. Hold on, guys. Before I get to the next clip, I just want to show you a couple of interviews from before. All right, from before, just like really quick sound bites, right? About the surgeries, about her surgeries. Here.
Should be punished by prison.
But on one hand, could it be looked at as self-defense? I mean, on one hand, she was dicing you up, girl. How many surgeries did you have?
So many.
So many. I told you guys I've had more than Gypsy Rose, okay? So many.
10, 20?
I'm pretty sure 30.
This always gets me. I've seen it a million times, and I love it when she's going to say multiple leg surgeries. I'm like, leg surgeries? You haven't had one leg surgery. What are you talking about? Listen.
30 more? Because I had multiple eye muscle surgeries, multiple leg surgeries, multiple throat surgeries.
What?
I don't have salivary glands. Not these anymore because they were removed.
She acts like she has no salivary. I have no saliva, no salivary. Like, there was 6 major, they took 2. You're good. You're good, okay? You still got saliva, all right? Like, I can't even swallow, Dr. Phil.
You got cut open. You got parts taken out of you. You got
What parts taken out of her? What are you talking about, Dr. Dr. Phil's as stupid, oh God, as the other people.
hacked up. You got poisoned. You got
Poisoned. All right, that's the end of that clip. Okay. All right.
Be happy. Have friends.
Hold on, this quick clip here too.
Because I knew that mom's never gonna let me.
Let's hear if we hear anything about this horrid exploratory surgery.
Be happy. Have friends. Fall in love. Get married. Have kids. Have a normal life. And I never wanted any more than that. I got scared and desperate. And the only thing that I could think about was I want this ideal life of freedom and happiness.
Okay. There's the real motive, right? The so-called, right? You know, yeah. All right. And let me get one more. Okay. So after, I just want one more clip. After, now you guys are going to recognize this clip. That's, oh, wait. No, there's one more I wanted to show you guys. Oh, maybe I don't have it up here. Maybe I don't. Okay. Yeah, I showed that one. Wait.
Did you hate your mother?
This one. This is before Melissa Moore again. These are all the interviews before Melissa Moore.
What? Or
Did you hate your mother at that point?
I didn't hate her.
You wanted her dead.
Yes, but it was not because I hated her. It was because
you're going to have an exploratory surgery and it was her or you?
I wanted to escape her.
Oh.
Nick traveled to Springfield.
Okay, there it is. Again, we're not hearing it. We're not hearing it in any of these interviews, right? It's not till Melissa Moore comes around, right? And then what happens? Well, after the memoir comes out, we hear stuff like this.
Was it your throat that was going to be?
It was going to be like biopsied, explored, and they were going to, have to do more things to my throat. But
And listen how she echoes the theme that Michelle came up with. Remember, Michelle on that last call was saying, I think it would be great if we opened with this and we can use like this theme, the symbolism of your mom taking your voice, right? Remember, you heard that in that call. The symbolism of your mom taking your voice is what Michelle told her. Let's hear what Gypsy says now to this guy.
My voice box this time.
Okay, so you were, so if you can take me to that, because it seems like that was an important moment for you.
Yes, like it was a moment where I was like, I already had throat surgery already. And it was a rough surgery. And so the thought of going through another procedure, that I'm like, well, this time you're gonna start messing with my voice.
There it is, straight from Michelle, the ghostwriter. We heard the call.
And that's terrifying.
Yes.
You know,
yes, Laddie.
I felt like, how much more are you going to take from me?
And so June 10th.
So there's how the story more from Dr. Phil. We're not talking about it at all. I got a couple more calls. I just wanted to play those clips. All right. So we got that one. Okay. Now let's get to the micro deletion. All right. Yeah. Did she know about the micro deletion? Gypsy knew a lot about the micro deletion, more than we knew. Yes, we did have that. We knew that she told Aaliyah, right? We know that she told Aaliyah, but I was wondering, did she talk to anybody in any of these prison calls? Did she mention that she had a chromosome disorder? Does she know she has a chromosome disorder? Or like she pretended after she got out, it was a shock to her that she had it, right? Right? Okay, let's listen to this call. I got to screen share it, and this is a little mind-blowing, if I do say so myself, this call right here. This is between her and a guy, I believe it's this guy named Robert, okay? And this is in August of 2017. And just so you understand where this is like right after the plea deal, and she's only been in prison for a little, like a couple months now, right? Because it's August 2017. She took her plea deal in 2016. By the time she got to Chillicothe, it was like, 6 months or so. So she's kind of new in prison here. And this isn't like, years after being there. Let's listen to what she knows about her chromosome disorder. I thought she didn't know anything about it, right?
And the same with P's and B's. So for a while, I had to kind of train myself to know the difference. But I don't have any problems reading now. So
oh, that's good. Yeah, it makes me curious. Like, I mean, if like, how can you tell which medical ailments you may have versus ones that your mother made up? Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That must be confusing.
It is confusing because I'm like, I want to know exactly, what do I have and what don't I have? And but I did get to see something. I had a test done. It was a blood test, and I guess they could trace back my DNA and kind of decipher what I am susceptible to as I get older, and if I have any defects in my DNA. And so I guess the long arm strand of my first chromosome is missing.
What? What? Like she knows this? Like she knows exactly the place on the chromosome where like she's like deleted at? Like she's researched this? Are you kidding me? Like she knows? Like she knows. Go back.
Long arm strand of my first chromosome is missing.
Oh.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I mean, I know what a chromosome looks like, and I know what the long arm strand of it looks like, but I don't know what it affects. And as for predispositions to anything, it said that Alzheimer's.
Maybe your GI tract, like why you had the G tube, maybe your teeth, maybe your swallowing dysfunction. Did you ever think of that? Are you kidding me, Gypsy? Are you kidding me? If you knew that, you looked it up and you knew at that point why you had all of those. You can't lie. I mean, come on, you know this specifically. Well, I'm missing the strand of the long arm, whatever the hell she said, right? And just wait, because we got a call with Christy too about this that's coming up. All right. So she's saying, well, I'm going to get Alzheimer's, or I'm prone to schizophrenia.
Predispositions to anything, it said that Alzheimer's and schizophrenia.
Uh-huh.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, Chris.
Yes.
Got that to look forward to.
Right. Seeing and hearing things that are not there and not remembering things.
So I don't know that much at all about the chromosomes or the deletion. I know this, that the part that Gypsy has missing is double the normal of what like let's say the normal, I'm just giving a hypothetical, is like 5 units. This isn't even how they measure it. Just say 5. Okay, like the norm is 5. Gypsy's at 10. I'm giving that as a hypothetical, all right? What she has missing is double what the normal people with the deletion have missing, that the kind of deletion she has. That's a big deal, I think. I'm pretty sure, and again, I can't talk on that in any professional way. I don't, I didn't do that kind of nursing, and I don't even think there is that kind of nursing, I don't know that much about it, but I do know Gypsy's deletion is double the size of what the norm is, which is kind of big. And it kind of blew my mind that in 2017, like she looked this up, like someone spoke to her about this. Obviously, it's not like, oh, I have a chromosome disorder, or my mom said I had a chromosome disorder. No, she's talking specifics here about it, right? And so are you going to tell me that she didn't look it up to the point where she would know that her GI problems came from the deletion? Like all the things that she had done to her came from the deletion? I mean, she had to know, right? At Lisa Knoll says she claims she hears Dee Dee screaming. Maybe it's good. Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe, Lisa.
Perfect.
Well, Alzheimer's is deadly.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
This Robert guy was kind of mean to her a lot, which I kind of thoroughly enjoyed when I listened to their calls, to be honest to you. He's got no filter. He's kind of like I don't know if he's like on the spectrum or what, but like his social skills, like he just like says shit, he doesn't care what she thinks.
it's a slow death. That's the horrible thing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Like parts of your brain, like
he's like parts of your brain. I mean, yeah, this guy's kind of like no filter.
kind of shrivel and
thanks.
stop working. That's what happens, and
I love it for Gypsy though.
eventually your brain forgets to start, to breathe.
Mhm. Wow. You just made me like terrified.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm kidding. But
He's like kind of taking. Oh, did I make you terrified? I mean, I'm telling you, this Robert guy, something not right there with him. Something not right.
But yeah, that's what it said. And I mean, I haven't been able to see a lot of my medical records, so I don't.
And she says this often. I haven't been able to see a lot of my medical records. That's another theme she says a lot. Well, you seem to know about this though. And how did you? Here's the thing. How do you know about this? Who told you about this? Well, we know that back in 2014, right? She tells Aaliyah about it before her mom's murdered.
I don't know what's the truth and what's not. Obviously, I know some things that are not true, like I don't have cancer, so yay.
Mm-hmm.
And just other things.
Thank you, Claire. Okay, so that is, thank you, Claire, for the 5 Becca Scoops memberships, you guys. Claire is in the chat. She is across the pond, so it's got to be late for her. She is one of our biggest supporters of this channel. OG supporter. You guys thank her, say hi to her. And thank you so much, Claire. You know I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. All right. So now here is about the microdeletion. Christy's going to be talking about it now. Now, I played one for you a couple, like when the calls were new, where I found Christy saying, I think Mia's got to get tested for this. I think Dylan's got to get tested for this. And so this call, which comes, I think it's 2019, about the microdeletion, what Christy says here, kind of blew me away too. Here, let me bring it up. So Christy's going to be talking about it again in 2019. But what she's going to tell Gypsy here is like, well, like there's some stupid people involved in this. Let me just let you listen to it and then we will discuss.
I'm gonna get Camille to look for one or something. And girl, you do not have that chromosome defect.
No, I don't.
No.
What? Now Christy's telling her you don't have it. When I first heard it, I go, is she talking about the microdeletion? She's telling Gypsy she doesn't have it. How? We know Gypsy has it. Where's Christy getting this information from in 2019? And they're talking about it. Why didn't they put this all together? Or did they all lie? Like when I'm talking about put it together, like that Gypsy needed like Dee Dee wasn't medically abusing her. Didn't they go, okay, microdeletion, let's look up the symptoms. Oh, that's weird. Microdeletion, 1q21, whatever it is. Oh, look, it's all the things that happened to Gypsy. Are you telling me no one put this together? And now we got Christy saying she doesn't have it? Who the F is telling Christy she doesn't have it? Back it up.
To look for one or something. And girl, you do not have that chromosome defect.
No, I don't.
No.
Oh, good. Okay,
Which,
so I'm not a mutant. Great.
no, which is good because Dylan would have had to get blood work.
Right.
Mia and Nicolette.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I got an email from Titania.
Okay, Titania was a friend of Dee Dee's who I think was working with Fancy Maselli when Fancy Maselli signed a contract with the Blanchards, I believe, to make this documentary with them. I think most of you guys know this story. They had a falling out. Well, it's important to know this because Titania was someone that was working, who was a friend of Dee Dee's, but was also working with Fancy and Christy. So Gypsy's saying, I got an email from Titania.
Wants me to call her. She says she has a couple more things that I need to sign.
Yeah. Ever since she had surgery, her mind's not out there. Ever since she had surgery. So, but she was swearing that you had the chromosome disorder.
Titania was swearing that Gypsy had the chromosome disorder, and she was right because it's in the medical records, right? And you know, now, present day, Gypsy's already confirmed she has it.
But the new girl, I'll say new, she's not really new, that is helping Francesca with.
So someone that was helping Fancy, Christy says.
With all the medical records, found it. You don't have it.
found it and you don't have it. So I don't know who that person is, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. You know, this is a long time ago. But at this point, Christy doesn't think Dylan has to get tested now, doesn't think Nicolette, that's Gypsy's half sister, or Mia. Christy says, well, Mia would have had to have been tested. Dylan would have had to have been tested. And so I guess now none of them do.
So,
Gypsy's very relieved. You can hear it.
yeah, I was like, oh, thank God, because Camille was, looking into it and trying, my doctor was going to try to find, was like, oh my God, we got to find out, and da-da-da-da-da. But it,
I'm perfectly
yeah.
healthy. Nothing DNA wrong.
No,
Good.
no. So you won't have to worry. Dylan and Mia and Nicolette won't have to worry. Like, I didn't even tell Dylan and Nicolette about it. I had told Mia about it because Mia was home.
Right.
And she's like, okay, what we got to do? I'm like, Camille's working on it, with the, got to see if y'all got to do blood work or not to see if there may be a carrier or just be, and have genetic,
Right, and have it, carry it or something.
genetic therapy, something like that it's called. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's a huge relief to know that everything's okay.
yeah, it is a huge relief.
Oh, I got all y'all email addresses, and I punched it in to my.
Okay, so that's the end of that portion there. You see how relieved they were, but we know that they do have it. So you can imagine when they find out again that they have it, I'm sure that now they must have all been tested, right? It is a serious situation. The issue is here, even if Gypsy for a period of time, possibly in 2019, didn't believe she had it. In 2017, you heard the call where she's actually discussing the deletion, like it's on this strand and it's this. I mean, she knew about it, knew about it. So how could she have not known then the procedures, the few she had, were tied to it? Of course she knew. Did she keep that information from the dynamic duo, the people that we're talking about here? Melissa and Michelle, who came up with this lie, who helped Gypsy cultivate this lie about her throat. It's a lie. Proven. I think I've proven it on this live stream. That Gypsy never spoke about it, never talked about it. Not until those two came along and you heard the prison phone calls and how it progressed. Is that a big deal? Yeah, that's a big deal. They published a book about it. They said this is why she murdered her mom. They pinned that on Dee Dee. It was her, it was me or her. And I had to murder her because she was going to cut my voice box. They made it up. They made it up so that Gypsy was more palatable for the masses, right? That she would be received and we would read the memoir and go, oh, wow, right? Except they didn't bank on a few things. People getting the FOIAs, people listening to these calls, people looking at the prison emails, right? Yeah, they didn't bank on that. All right. So I wanted to bring up who Michelle is. This is she's got like her own website and shit, guys. New York Times bestselling author and editor and former editor director of HCI Books, the original publisher of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Oh, wow. That's kind of big. Yes, they also removed the microdeletion from one version of the book. Sloppy work. Exactly, Mighty Mulatto. Yeah. If I can say so myself, I found that. I was the one that found that originally. You're right. What else does it say about Michelle? Michelle was an in-house acquisitions editor and developmental editor for 15 years. So this woman knows what she's doing. She's not a novice. She knows about, that's why they're both, her and Melissa are trying to get Gypsy on a timeline. I think they discussed behind the scenes, well, we've got to, let's think of let's find a surgery around that time that we can use, because they were sloppy and didn't do their homework. And so they thought, like Gypsy they probably watched the Dr. Phil interview. Well, Gypsy said she had like over 30 surgeries. Let's find one of them that we can say, this is why Gypsy murdered her mom. It was this surgery that really pushed her over the edge. Not knowing I've had more surgeries than Gypsy. I'm saying that as a joke, but it's true. Yeah, sloppy. Didn't she try to delete that from Wiki? Yeah, she did. Yes. At Generally Speaking. Yeah, she did try to delete a whole bunch of shit from Wikipedia. They banned her over there. It's like comical. She's banned. Crazy, right? All right. So this Michelle is no novice. Even if Melissa was a novice in that she didn't have a background in journalism, okay, and she didn't have a background in producing like a reality series, Melissa knew what she was doing. And again, she did back away from Gypsy. I think Melissa spent so much time on the phone with Gypsy that she started to see who she was. Not that I'm giving Melissa that much of a pass, because I think she is kind of a grifter and a scammer in using her dad, the happy face killer thing. And then she tries to get intimate with victims. Like, she wrote this book. I won't go into it here. It's kind of a gross book, like how she tries to like get in with the victims of like serial killers, right? And then she was trying to get in with them to get interviews and write this book, basically. Yeah, so it's what she does. I want to say this too. Gypsy was very upset. I'll play this clip. You know how Gypsy claims that her book was like the best-selling, New York Times best-selling? Listen to this.
Is the memoir. In what's the continuing interest is the fact that people are so interested in my story, regardless of how many times it's been told on the platform.
Right.
I think this is with Melissa.
Just looking at the trailer, I kind of rolled my eyes. And I'm kind of like,
it's Michelle.
People are so interested in my story.
Listen to her about the trailer. This is, first she complained to Melissa about it. Now she's going to get mad at Michelle about it, even though Michelle really doesn't have anything to do with it. But it's the way she talks in these calls that crack me up. It's just so,
regardless of how many times it's been told on the platform.
Right.
But just looking at the trailer, I'm kind of like, I kind of rolled my eyes. And I'm kind of like, when we started filming for it, I was under the impression, and yes, it is that, but I'm not too thrilled with how the marketing and promotion is going for it. Like, whoever makes the trailers, I think they're kind of fucking up in a sense.
Okay.
And
if Gypsy says so herself, because she knows how to make trailers and she knows all about producing reality series. I mean, who does she think she is? Who the hell does she think she is? It's right. The way she talks to these people.
the reason why I feel that is because if you look at the trailer, there is no distinction of how this is any different than Mommy, Dead, and Dearest.
Oh.
Oh, I think placating her. Oh, right. They know she's crazy. Oh.
Revenge or anything else that has been put out. It still shows, you know, my mom did this, my mom did that, my mom, okay. Instead of saying, I want to share my story about what I've been doing in prison. I've been holding these secrets.
I want it to be about me. but I don't like to talk about me. But I want it to be about me.
And he's like, you know, it's not showing focus on me in prison and my time in prison. It's still focused on the crime. And I guess that's what sells, but you were supposed to be promoting a present day me. And
You're supposed to be promoting a present day me. People don't care about you, girl. Okay? They don't. They just care about like like the whole weirdness about how your mother got murdered and all that, right? You're not promoting me. Oh, it's too much about right. Exactly. Snowflakes and firefly. Exactly. We're done talking about my mom. This should be about me. I mean, that's why I clipped this part.
I get this, they have to recap, but you're focusing more on the recap that makes it look like any other documentary in the past.
Right.
You're not showing anything new. So they didn't even put anything about the wedding or anything. They're just so focused on that.
What about my fucking wedding to Ryan? Why isn't that in there? Like anyone, like no one cares, because like no one cares about your wedding to some really gross guy that's come out now. He's like a pedophile. Like no one cares. Why does she think people would care about a mommy murderer getting married to some overweight dude in Louisiana? Who wants to watch that? No one.
That one episode that recaps everything.
Wow.
So for me, I feel like that's a letdown for the
But it's so good for the book, for you and the book, you know, because I mean, they're the ones who are gonna. I mean, they're taking a chance on having a bomb, you know, like so. Let them learn, like kind of like how you just said, like we learned, you know, we lived and learned about the postings on TikTok. Okay, well they're gonna live and learn. They're the ones that you're no skin off your back, because you're gonna have the opportunity to not overexpose, right? So you're gonna be like, okay, this is what the memoir purpose is. If that's what you want the memoir to be, you know, we can have the room to make that happen. You know, I mean, yeah, if it's this sensational kind of promo, like, and I think it's important
like,
too.
Once you watch
Like,
it, you'll be able to see the reenactments and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'll take a look when we hang up.
She didn't take a look. She's like, this girl, right? This girl.
I think what's very important is to remember, like, if you're getting sick of it, the readers and your supporters will also, right? It's like an inevitable. You're like, I'm over it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. There will definitely be most people will be like, we're over it. We don't want to hear about it anymore. You know, I mean, there will be a point. So the important thing is to, like, kind of like how, like, the Taylor Swift's genius is that she reinvents herself over and over again. She's never the same Taylor.
With Gypsy and like she complains to this woman, Michelle, about this, the same thing. It's not about me. Why isn't the trailers? Why isn't it going to be about me? What Gypsy fails to understand is something that I bring this little clip up all the time, right? I'm kind of a hometown celeb. It's what she wrote to Nick, their very first correspondence, right? She always thought that she herself was such an interesting person that she would like she was meant to be on the red carpet, not understanding if she never murdered her mother, she would be some woman down in Louisiana, right? No, but just like the rest of us, right? A nobody, right? You're not anybody spectacular, but Gypsy always had this thing in her mind that she was like special, right? She was so special and talented that people would just want to like know about her. She doesn't get the attraction or why people, it's like watching a train wreck. Okay. And the few people that are still deluded that buy like the memoir version that I'm like destroying here on this live stream, the few people that still believe that bullshit, yeah, sure, they may see her as some kind of heroine, right? But still, that's tied to the crime. That's tied to the crime. Her alone? Nobody's tuning in for anything. Gypsy. Where's your podcast, Gypsy? Yeah.
There's always a new version of her because people would get bored.
Right.
Like, that's what happened, in my opinion, to Lady Gaga. She got boring.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you and your outfits, you and your wigs, you and your ugly clothes.
So in reinventing, and then like there is, I do want to bring this up as a concern that you can maybe bring up at the meeting. Okay, so from what I'm seeing in the comments, there is.
Notice she's in to the comments. This clip's almost over, but I wanted to play it because this is what we're seeing in her now, right? If you like listen to a lot of these calls, there's themes. And one of them is Gypsy cannot stop obsessing about people, social media, right? Like so many, she reads every comment about her, not only on her post, but on other people's. Like if I make a video, she'll be reading the comments. Do you know what I mean? She can't stop doing it. So here she is.
An expectation or an assumption rather that this is the memoir.
I know.
So,
I know.
So this part is interesting. I'm going to go ahead and take it down. What she's talking about here is that many of you know, and some of you may not know, that there were 2 books that came out. One was called an ebook. The next one was the memoir. Why? It's ultimate grifty. It's grifty McGrifty, right? It's like, we're going to cash in twice. And what Gypsy was trying to tell this woman was, people are confused. They think the ebook is the memoir, and they're going to be upset when they find out they bought this little piece of crap ebook, and then the memoir comes out, and they're going to go, well, I thought that was the memoir. What do you mean? What you mean? I got to buy something else now too? You know, it was just Melissa Moore. It was Melissa Moore and that woman, the woman I showed you guys. These 2 women decided they would do 2 books with Gypsy. This little crappy ebook, and then the really, really crappy memoir that is really, really poorly written, right? So, was Gypsy's book on the New York Times bestselling list? No. In one of the calls, I don't have it. Gypsy is talking to Michelle, and Gypsy's like, oh, I think it's on the bestsellers list. And Michelle's like, because she's the author, right? She goes, no, it's not like on the right bestsellers list. It's on the New York Times bestsellers list for under the category or the niche group deception. So I looked it up when I heard that in the prison phone call, and I found this out. Where is it? Where's that little thing I was showing you guys? No, that's not it. No, that's the where is it? I was just showing it to you. Oh, it's over here. Nope. Talking about Gypsy's book, it did not make the bestseller list for the general memoirs. That's the big category all writers covet. If you're writing a memoir, making the New York Times bestsellers list under the category of memoirs or biographies and memoirs is the major, like, it's the epitome of success. Okay. Gypsy's book did not make the New York Times bestsellers list under those categories. It made the bestsellers list under the sub genre categories of, you're going to love it, dysfunctional families, murder and mayhem, true accounts, and survival biographies and memoirs. So, but you know how Gypsy likes to do. She's like, New York Times best-selling author, right? Yeah, no, not really. Not really. You know what I mean? You know how there's like a major league and a minor league in professional baseball, right? Just in the minor leagues, like the major league would be getting on the list under memoirs and biographies, right? Not on some little subcategory. Like you or I could write a book and probably make the list under, dysfunctional families. I could do that tonight, probably make it. Oh, I'm on the New York Times bestsellers list under dysfunctional families. You get it? Yeah, it's not under like memoirs, like the true bestseller. So, Gypsy, no. Okay, no. Stop pretending like you're a New York Times bestseller. All right. I mean, technically, yes, but you get what I'm saying with that. All right, guys, let me see. I think I want to make sure I played all of the clips. There's a lot of them. I played that one. Did I play that one? Okay, I don't think I played this one.
Okay, so the next chapter is.
Oh, yeah, I didn't play this one. This one's good. Hold on. This one's good. Hold on. All right, here we go. This is in June. Maybe I did play. No, I don't think I played this.
Is marry or murder.
Okay.
Okay, so the next chapter is marry or murder.
Okay.
This is again with Michelle. They are continuing to work on the book, and just listen.
So this, I'll tell you here what you guys wrote. Gypsy realizes there is no merging of polar opposite worlds or success in her mother letting her ever be free. It became clear her situation was dire. Either she would be potentially killed in surgery or live her life forever like.
Now she's going to be potentially killed in surgery. You guys, she hadn't had surgery, and she only had really one surgery, like legitimate surgery. And that was in 2006. Okay. Yeah, she had eye surgeries. Okay. She had major dental work done. She had a lot of procedures done to her. I'm not going to say she didn't. Okay. But this whole thing, that this woman's writing that she could potentially be killed in surgery? Ridiculous.
This. One more surgery after another.
What?
There was no end in sight.
No end in sight. She hadn't had any surgery for 10 years. 10 years. Do you check anything, woman? Do you check? Are you doing your job? Before you make that statement, do some research.
Desperation, the only way out now was for her mother to be out of the picture. POV is emotionally hopeless, helpless, urgent. That if she didn't act now, what would be the consequences later? My body was tired of being used, terrified if this continues, I would die or for real be handicapped. So what was going on? Were you being threatened with more surgeries at this point? I mean,
okay, so she reads that and listen to her question. Listen to her question. She doesn't know. She's asking. So what was really going on then? Were you really being threatened with more surgeries at this point? You don't know? You just read that. What's going on here? What's happening here? Now you want her to clarify this, right? So what was really going on, Gypsy? You're claiming that, right? This is crazy.
You're with me. Okay, so yeah.
There was an upcoming surgery, and it was on my throat. And I had already had surgery on my throat to remove my two salivary glands. That's usually located in your throat. And I've got a scar on my neck, on both sides of my neck, from that surgery. And the doctors wanted to do another surgery. And at that point, it was like the breaking point. I'm like, I don't want to have an.
Now it's the breaking point. Boy, you didn't tell that to Dr. Phil or those other people on ABC 2020. I showed you the clip from that, right? It's such a lie, right? Such a lie. This is the breaking point now. Okay.
Another surgery, and it's not like I didn't try to plead with her and be like, can we please tell them I
Okay. If this is true, Gypsy, whoever, people in Gypsy's camp, where's the record? Show us the record for this surgery. Where is it at? Where's the notes from the doctor who said he was going to do exploratory surgery, carve into her neck, not down her nose, not a scope. I want to see the records. Where are they? In that one call, Melissa said, the earlier call from March 2022, Melissa goes, "Oh, do we have those records? Oh, I'll see if I can find those records," she said. I bet she never found them. Okay.
don't need it. I don't want to have the surgery. I really don't want to. And she wasn't budging on it. She's like, it's like, this is not up for debate. Like, it's going to happen. And I tried. And in my mind, I felt like that was me.
Why didn't you tell this to Ken in 2019 when he asked you point blank about surgeries and having to stop your mom? Did you ever try to do that? Do you, your answer is like, no, I didn't know. I don't think so. Right? Why didn't you tell Ken about this back then?
Telling her, please, reconsider the surgery because the alternative is your life, is what I wanted to tell her. Because
did you hear what she said there? I pleaded with her, please think to change your mind about this because it's your life, meaning her mom's life, meaning I'm going to take your life over this woman.
Those are the thoughts that were going through my head. And
oh God.
So I felt like at that point when she's like, no, it's not up for debate, it was feeling her fate. And it broke my heart because I really didn't want that to be the option.
You never talked about this until after you got out of prison and it shows up in your memoir. Never. It's not in Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. Why isn't this in Mommy, Dead, and Dearest if this was the truth? Why didn't they show the medical records for this exploratory surgery? Why isn't it even spoken about in Mommy, Dead, and Dearest if this is the truth?
Like, I wanted to give her a natural way out where it was like, okay, I'm taking your feelings into consideration. If you don't want to have the surgery, we won't have the surgery. That's what I was wanting to hear. Not that that particular surgery was the only reason why I felt like murder was the only way out. But at least she could have been reasoned with a little bit easier.
Right.
I think she's just point blank lying even about her mother there. I don't even, the only thing we've seen with that, and I'm going to take this down now. The only thing I think we've seen is the one record that I found, right, where it was canceled. This ENT appointment was canceled for vocal cord dysfunction syndrome. May 1st, 2015, right? Canceled. Nowhere else does it say it was rescheduled. Nowhere else in the records I have anyways, the records I have, I don't have all of them, obviously. Do I see any other place where this is happening? Like pre-op, no. In fact, most of these appointments were canceled after Gypsy gets diagnosed with the microdeletion. Most of these, like she wasn't going to the doctor a lot after that. And there was a lot of cancellations of just regular appointments after that. Okay. So now that I've heard all of this, right? How she told Ken, no, what did she tell Ken? Were there any kind of operations or surgeries that your mom wanted to do to you, but like you didn't let her or like stopped her in some way from doing? Well, yes, Ken, there was this exploratory surgery that that's actually why I thought like I had to murder her. No, what's her answer? No, not that I'm thinking about. No, I know I had an upcoming like procedure, not exploratory surgery, right? But this would have been the answer. The answer to this question would have been the perfect time for her to tell Ken all about this horrendous surgery that her mother was going to take her voice away. But she doesn't say it. And she doesn't say it until those two women come in her life and they all plot it out together. You heard the phone calls, how it developed. It developed like that. And that became this book. And this book is what they were hoping would launch her podcast. Her podcast, right? They could keep cashing in on that she would become this heroine. She would become like this influencer. People would want to go on her podcast because she had been through hell. And her mother almost killed her with this surgery, don't you know? But a little thing happened. The internet did what the internet does, and people started looking into her case. Not just me, but many others. There's so many. And found out she was a big fat liar. And now, little by little by little by little, we are finding all of the people who helped her, right? Lots of people cashed in. It's all in the, look at this one. Oh, look at that. It's Christy and Rod with, that is in shorts, the attorney, the public defender, Mike Stanfield there. There's Dylan. There they all are. A lot of people cashed in on Dee Dee's murder. And all they had to do was villainize her. That's all. And she was dead, so she couldn't talk for herself. She couldn't talk for herself. She's dead. Well, guess what? She is talking now. Yeah, we're all talking for her now. And we're going to keep talking. And we're not done. We're not even near done. Not with these calls. All right, guys. Sorry, I get a little heated about this. Let's get to more of your comments. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Thank you guys for listening to me for this long. We've got at Yelling Timber 01, 10 Jules, Happy Pop. Thank you at Yelling Timber. I've seen you around and I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Oh, and I did this before, but let's do it again. You guys go over to her channel at This Is Getting Weird TV. I love her content. I'm a fan. Take a look. Take a look. She's really good. All right. I see where I was at now. Jill B, 13.99 Canadian dollars. Since July 2009, Gypsy would have had to consent to any procedures or surgeries proposed. Yes, this is correct. As she was not deemed mentally competent to consent. If Gypsy didn't want it done, it wouldn't have been done. That is exactly right. Gypsy had the power. Exactly right. Okay, let me get to some more of these, you guys. We've got love Christy, one of my mods. Thank you for being here. Patiently waiting for Gypsy's house of cards to finally fall. Christy, I think it's these calls. I think this is going to do it. They're gold. You know, they're a lot to get through, but I really think there's so much that's going to come out from this, right? All right, let's take a look at, and thanks, Christy, for being my mod. I really appreciate that. At Chris Says, I think, member for 9 months. I can't wait for the world to see her lies and manipulation laid out point by point, for her to be seen as the heinous, hideous, lying murderer she is. Amen, Chris. I think it's Chris Says. I'm sorry because they're cutting off your guys' names, but yes, Chris, it's Chris Says. I know that because you've been a member here for a long time. Thank you, Chris Says. I appreciate that. And here we go. Mighty Mulatto up. The sage of the chat. He says they're feeding Gypsy her own story. Rod said if she just let you have a boy. Yes. Rod said if she just would have let you have a boyfriend. Right? Rod knew. Rod knows and knew. The whole high-pitched voice isn't a medical reason. No, for surgery. No, can you imagine? Oh, your voice is very high. I think we need to do exploratory surgery. Right? Thanks for that, Mighty Mulatto. Appreciate that. We got Rachel Wilson coming in with 10 jewels. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you so much. Coming back, Chris Says 8647, $5. Doctors decide the kind of anesthesia. Dee, thank you. This is such a great point that, yes, thank you for reminding me of this, Chris Says. Dee would not set the surgical plan. No. Can you imagine? The mom says no anesthesia out there. Gypsy is so outrageously bad at lying. I get so angry about this too. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I think, I do. I just get crazy about this stuff, and of course the racism and all the rest of it. But this, when it goes right to Dee, I just can't take it. It really gets me going. Thank you so much, Chris Says. I appreciate that. We got Bree with the warrants. Bree with the warrants coming in with $9.99. Bree with the warrants says, something my granny always told me that I've learned to be true is that the pendulum always swings back the other way. Yes. I'm hopeful that this is it for her. It has to be the beginning. Have faith. Amen, Bree with the warrants. I believe your granny, smart lady. It always swings back. What comes around goes around, right? I think we're there. I think this is the beginning, like you say, of getting there. All right. We got Anne Fran. I live in NOLA. My records are available. Okay. All right. I wonder I know you live in New Orleans. I know that for sure. Thank you, Anne Fran, for being my mod. Also, I appreciate that. All right. We've got some others here. We got a Yelling Timber, member for 6 months. She was 23. Her mother had no say in that procedure. Yeah, that's right. Her mother was not dictating procedures when she was 23. Thank you for that. Thank you for the reminder of that. At Taminator 664 coming in with $5. I'm already laughing because I see that what this is going to be saying. No house, no Mercedes, no ring, no podcast, no brand deals, just 40K plus 40K prison phone calls coming in. These calls are exposing them all. Thanks, Becca. Love you. Love you back, Taminator. Thanks for being here. And thanks for the donation. I really appreciate it. At Blue Eyes Division, I believe, member for 8 months, need to get her book and docs pulled. Yes, we do. Her book should just be off. It should just be, they should pull it. Ben Bella, pull all of the memoirs off the shelves. Now, you're lying about a murder victim, for Christ's sake. I don't think that's what they want their brand to be about. I'm pretty sure that's not what they want their brand to be about. We got at Silveri 7712, $5 Canadian. Imagine having such an anti-you platform and never taking a second to consider that you are wrong. Are you talking about me or are you talking about Gypsy? Imagine having such an anti-you platform. Are you talking about Gypsy, I think, right? An anti-Gypsy platform that never take a second. Yeah, I agree. If you're talking about Gypsy, I agree. Thank you for the donation too. I appreciate that. We got Mighty Mulatto coming in with $5. Ironic that the Blanchards exploited Dee Dee's lifelong effort to remedy the deletion. Yes. Yet they were very concerned and wanted their own kids tested, right? Yeah, but it's no big deal. She's hardly scathed. But in the background, we've got Christy like, we got to get Dylan tested. We got to tell Nicolette about it. That's Gypsy's half sister. Mia's upset about it. We got to get her tested, right? And part of the prison phone calls, Gypsy does say as a giveaway when she's talking about the deletion, it's in a different phone call. I don't have it. Well, my grandma has, everyone says that I have the same high pitched voice as my grandma. I think it's Rod's mom. I think a lot of people think that possibly Rod's mom may have the deletion. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for that, Mighty Mulatto. Always love seeing you in the chat. At Zombolina, $6.99. When my daughter got genetic genome testing done, they did tell you where it is missing. Yes. And on Gypsy's, I've never done this, but you can do this. There's in the actual like report on Gypsy's, they tell you exactly where it's at too. So, you can do a deep dive. And that's how I found out that hers is like double, like the normal deletion. So, yeah, thanks for that. I got Claire Power, member for 16 months. Claire, as you know, has been here from the beginning. Sorry, Becca, I'm late. I'll catch the replay. Hope you're well, Becca. Yeah, Claire, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the memberships too. And yeah, it's really late for Claire. Thank you for being here, Claire. At Cloud Mags, member for 5 months. Thank you for being here for 5 months. And we got Crystal Pistol, member for 15 months. Thank you, Crystal Pistol. And that's where we've got where Claire gifted the 5 Becca Scoops memberships. Thank you so much, Claire, again for that. We got Zombolina. Okay, wait. Yes. They also give you info. Okay. When my daughter got her genetic testing, they tell where the specifically, yeah. And they also give you info about where there are indicators for Alzheimer's and other illnesses. All right. Good to know. Good to know. And so obviously, like we were listening to Gypsy, she knew about that. She looked into it. It wasn't just like a cursory knowledge of it. Like she's talking like kind of a deep dive knowledge about her own microdeletion. Snowflakes and Firefly coming in with $1.99. Christy takes 2 planes and a car to get to the point. Right. Exactly. She does. Sometimes listening to Christy, I'm like, okay, go on. I have to fast forward mostly. Yeah. At Vladdy Pops, my loyal mod for 13 months. There's evidence that Dr. Phil. Yeah, I've seen that. I think somebody was at what's her name? Did a documentary on that, right? On Dr. Phil, like what's her name? Her name's with the blue hair. Swoop, right? I think she did a thing on Dr. Phil being corrupt. So I think you're right, Vladdy. Totally right. So yeah, there's that. Jill B, $27.99 Canadian dollars. Is Christy an MD? No, nowhere near. Did she read the reports properly? Microcephaly alone is an indication for a chromosome genetic disorder. Thank you, Jill B. My point exactly all the time. When people goes, how do you know that they didn't know Gypsy didn't have a chromosome deletion until 2008? The minute Gypsy was born and they took the circumference of her head and it came back with microcephaly, the doctors told Dee Dee, your daughter has a chromosome disorder. We just don't know what. Okay. Exactly, Jill B. Exactly. Gypsy wants to be the victim solely, not wanting to validate Dee Dee. Thanks for your hard work. #TruthTrain. Thank you for that comment. Very, very insightful, Jill B. Very insightful. Okay, we got Michelle Yeager, 235, $1.99. This girl is so evil and just vile. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for being here. Thank you for those sentiments. We all agree. Everyone in chat agrees with you. All right. Mighty Mulatto coming in with $2. She's making sure she can sell it, not to clarify. Exactly. I know what you're talking about in the prison phone calls. Thanks for that, Mighty Mulatto. Snowflakes and Firefly, $4.99. There's no such surgery for vocal cord exploration. I didn't think so. I don't think so either. Yeah, I kind of was doing like loose research. I don't think there's a vocal cord exploration surgery either. The most an ENT would do is put a scope and a camera in your throat. Right? Surgeons don't take BS. They don't. They're not. They're not going to do like open you up for no reason. There's like exploratory surgeries in certain types of diseases when it goes so far. But this isn't one of them. This isn't anywhere near that point. So great point, Snowflakes and Firefly. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Stay hydrated. Thank you for that. Thank you for that at Katie Gonzalez. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Okay, and we got Carolina Girl coming in $5. Preach it, Becca. We are the voice of Dee Dee, and no, we are not done yet. Karma is finally spinning the block. Much love and respect to you. Back at you, Carolina Girl. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you being here and being a mod. I really appreciate that too. All right, just a couple more. We got Cooks and Craft member for 1 month. Becca, your lives are on fire. You're amazing. Thank you, Cooks. So happy to see you in the chat. Thank you for being here. And you're on fire over on TikTok, I hear, Cooks. And I am not I'm not spreading to see you. Love you. Oh, okay. I didn't think you were. Silveri 7712. I didn't think you were dissing me. I was just like trying to understand exactly what you were saying. I didn't think you were dissing me. No problem. And love you back. And thank you for the $5 and love the picture of your cat. Love that little cat face. So cute. All right, guys. We've been at this. It's getting close to 3 hours. Yeah, it's getting close to 3 hours. These calls are going to be the gift that keeps on giving. Yes, I'm telling you. There's certain ways to look up things now, and it's just I'm on it. I'm gonna stay on it. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Keegan's left. She didn't want to hear it. She was here and she leaves. Keegan's is like this, right? Yeah. That's what she likes about Gypsy. She does not like Gypsy, and she doesn't like hearing Gypsy's voice. And these calls, Keegan's been here for all these calls. It's been like 24/7 over here for Keegan's. The voice it's hard to take. Yeah, it's hard to take. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for me on this live stream. We will be going live, of course, next week. Or if something major happens, I'll just do an impromptu live if I have to, if I find something crazy. But yeah, I'm on top of this. I'm not going to stop. I know a lot of content creators are also on top of it, and I appreciate them so much. So I think that's going to do it for me. I think my voice is almost gone. It's almost gone. So I love all of you. I'll be live in a couple more days, probably make a video, do a live stream. I'm here. I'm on top of it. Thank you guys for joining me on this live stream. And Becca Scoops out. Good night, guys.